The following is brought to you by the People's National Party.
Make the trumpets play. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. They can tell me how we can do it together. When we look at the future of precipice, we see Jamaica needs the vision of the PNP. People said the bag of promises, them can't carry go shop. And the crime rate getting high, I wonder when it all goes down, comrades. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. We can tell me how.
The proceeding was brought to you by the People's National Party.
The scale of dealing with anti-corruption issues. So there is a learning curve that we are going through. What is important is that the government supports the development of the institution so it can accelerate very quickly on that learning curve and provide the resources so that they can move very quickly on the learning curve, and that the government does not intervene or interfere. And that message goes to the opposition as well. Leave the anti-corruption and policing agencies to do their jobs. So why you come to me with that foolishness, you know? You elect a prime minister, and is a prime minister run the country. It is time we learn to hold our leaders accountable for their actions and stop making excuses for them. Stop making excuses. Otherwise, go elect the people who really run in the country. And I don't want the right start that stupid argument. Hold the people you elect accountable and stop making excuses for them.
Hello, welcome. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to those in television land. Happy Tuesday to our silent supporters. Happy Tuesday to everyone in the chat. And also happy new month. The year, it's already February and we just started 2026. The time is moving by quickly. But remember, guys, when you come in, thumbs up the live, share us out if you can. And if you're new to the channel, please show us some support by subscribing. That will be greatly appreciated. Tonight's topic is Justice Hangs in the Balance with your host, Mystic Sensation, which comprises Baron and Anne-Marie. We also have Melting Pot, and we will be joined by Mr. Rattigan. So again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let me just go ahead and quickly welcome those in the chat. Doris McCoy, Winnie Mead, Beverly, Mand Hudson, Carla Ibanks, Audrey Rick, Veronica Shorter, Mrs. Jamupton, Patel Cruikshank, Merlin Molioson, Pamela O'Connor, our channel member, bless up yourself, Louis Longshore, Charles Beckford, Laverne, Matthew Lewis, Devon Fletcher, Cecile Phillips, Marie May, Gloria Blyden, Sadie Gale, Michelle McCoy, Ashani Marcus, Laris Beckford, bless up yourself, Florence Denny, Beverly Grant, Lynette Jenkins, Barbara Giwa, Sharon Ricketts, Match 2020, Kingsley Anglin, Christopher Wright, Just for Phone, Patricia Banton, bless up, Lynette Jenkins, or Dion Fresh Mundle, Aldine, Cameron Robinson, bless up yourself. Welcome. Thank you so much as usual for tuning in. Really appreciate your continued support. Without any delay, I am going to hand over to Byron.
Thank you again, Wifey, for that usual wonderful presentation. Right, you never, right, not, appeal as it relates to your technical skills and awareness, and we welcome that, right, as a solid producer, right, on the Mystic Sensation, right. My Jamaican people, before we go any further, an umbrella. Welcome to all my beautiful comrade brothers and sisters who bind in the unity in terms of achieving what we set out to achieve. And what is that? Good governance, holding government accountable, checks and balance and transparency. And yes, our comrade leader, Mark Golden, right, build on that mandate, build on that premise. And of course, it is solid for our future, right, prospect as it relates to our generation. Now, let me say this. Tonight, we are going to touch on various topics and some very serious subject matter, right, relating to in-depth corruption that we are going to reveal tonight, where the Andrew Holness administration is concerned. And so then tonight, we are going to be targeting, right, ADPEM and the multiple resources that process through ADPEM, the multiple resources that process through the Andrew Holness administration. People are going to be surprised. So when Andrew Holness is trying to break down the category in terms of giving relief aid in terms of 3 category, right, a 75,000 and so forth, a 200,000, 500,000, we are going to show you that that is current. And when Jamaica people see, right, the amount of aid that Andrew Holness, we track them. We definitely gather the evidence to come and expose him tonight. And when we finish, Jamaica, you have to see the evidence that we are presenting. And definitely be aware of this particular government. And let me say this before I even go to having Melting Pot come down here, right? What Andrew Holness is doing, and we are going to show people, as it relates to his previous administration, we have the evidence as it relates to billions, trillions, as a matter of fact. I don't know where billion is going. Trillions of dollars being missing as it relates to his previous administration. Now, what the third term is trying to do, this third term administration, is trying to now have, right, the hurricane relief system, all the donations that he's getting, all the monetary contributions that he's getting, he's trying now to divert it to stop up some of the gap, right, as it relates to what the Auditor General is investigating, right? And so then the criminality of the second administration is trying to, right, put money aside now, you understand, to fill the gap. And we are going to show clear evidence of that, right, as it relates to source document being generated. So without any delay, we're going to have Brother Rattigan join us later, right? Let me have Brother Melting Pot, right, to meet and greet his wonderful brothers and sisters. Melting Pot.
Yes, my brother. Blessings once again, to everyone tuning in tonight as usual. Tuesday night, Mystic Sensation Live. Yes, man. You don't know we have to greet everyone across the length and breadth of Jamaica, but more so the people them down there. Ground zero. We know continue to suffer on a daily basis that relate to the basic amenities that they don't have, to prolong their life. So I just want to tell the people them in ground zero, continue to hold the faith and be strong. Yeah, man. I'm blessing to everybody in the chat tonight, worldwide. Yeah, because tonight is the night when we have to come reveal some statistical figure as it relates to donation where the government receive from donor country and individual alike. So, We are going to divulge in them type of information tonight and share it with the wonderful guests them in the chat and the people that were tuned in the millions worldwide. Yeah, pick up yourself, Sir Lord Byron, as usual. Don't know why you're the host. And you speak the most truth around here, you know. Always, never detract from the reality and the facts. And to our technical director, Lady Anne Marie with the gold finger, the producer who work tireless behind the scene to get all the graphics that you see present on a nightly basis. So, you know, without any further ado, I just hand back the floor to the host.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, my brother, Melting Pot. Right? Love that. Now, let me say Jamaica. We have seen as it relates to a particular case that, judgment was provided on. And we want to, of course, touch on that as it relates to the Jylan Sylvester, right, judgment. And we have seen some media sensationalization around the issue as it relates to Big Mama, NNN, right? Try to utilize that to gain some political optics. But it is not going to work because guess what? You're going to be disappointed tonight. The thing, right? We allow you, right, to get on with your sensationalization, your political optics. But tonight is the night that we are going to burst your bubble, right? And so then we are going to begin with you. But before I begin with you, let me say this to Jamaica. I don't know where the JP vloggers are going as it relates to trying to say what, as it relates to the judgment that pronounced on Jylan Sylvester. First and foremost,
Silvera.
Thank you, Melting Pot. First and foremost, let me say this. It has no effect to the to the People's National Party. None whatsoever. Right? The judgment on Jylan has not reduced one of our 28 members of parliament. So where are you going with your optics? What are you trying to say? It has nothing to do in terms of affecting the economy. Nothing. Right? Jylan, right? Silvera, sorry. Jylan Silvera was a former member of the People's National Party. And this is where the discussion is going to be very interesting tonight. And so then guess what? He has no effect in terms of him being, utilizing, right, whatever plea bargain, right, to plea for a lesser penalty. Let me add this. We are going to speak in essence, right, of that and show Jamaica, as it relates to the Andrew Holness administration, the viciousness and the evil. Right? We are not here to delve into, Jylan Silvera case. We are here to point out justice. Let me mention that. Justice. And so then, let me say this to the DPP. And let me say this to the corrupted Commissioner of Police. That we give kudos as it relates to the trial and its judgment. If Mr. Silvera is guilty, then of course judgment must prevail. We are not going to utilize as how I see how JP vlogger is utilized as a gimmickry. Let the chips fall where they may. I mean, let the chips fall where they may. I mean, Joel and Silveria, right, is not an active member of the People's National Party. So as it relates to your verbatim, let the chips fall where they may in mockery of Mark Golding, right? We are going to see the chips fall where they may as it relates to what we are going to do and what the Auditor General is going to do, prosecute GLP members of Parliament out of power. That is what is going to happen. And the chips, of course, are going to fall where they may. That is what's going to happen. Joel and Silveria conviction has nothing to do with let the chips fall where they may. Right? The People's National Party is independent of that. Let me just bring up Brother Rattigan here. All right. So now we settle that. We are going to deal with common justice, and we are going to show the world. We are going to show the world our bias, which is very serious. You know, my sister, Atta for the Press, made her observation quite clear in saying, and let me repeat this. My sister Atta for the Press saying, "Only can go and trust the DPP. I am watching the DPP with my 4 eyes." Now, what I'm going to present tonight, you are going to see specifically that, of course, my lady Atta for the Press, right, has a right to say what she said, and I defend her on that. And so now we have the DPP under the microscope, not because that Joel and Silveria found guilty, not because as it relates to the conviction in Noel Maitland case, we have the DPP under our surveillance and the Commissioner of Police under our surveillance for cases that are so pronounced as it relates to the guilt of these people, and the Jamaica Labour Party has not put on the burner like, oh, they pursued other persons who they think or perceive that they affiliated with the People's National Party. We are going to show the clear distinction of blind justice. Without any delay, let me have Brother Rattigan just meet and greet his people. Brother Rattigan? All right. Brother Rattigan seems to always up, but not ready. Okay. Brother Rattigan, meet and greet your wonderful people, because when we start tonight, a fire, you know, living lava. All right. All right. So Brother Rattigan is fixing his thing there. But since Brother Rattigan is in the process of, getting,
No sound.
No sound, Brother Ratti. No sound. We want to sound proper tonight, because tonight is the night, right? So make sure that, right, you're up and ready. All right. In the meantime, right, you're sorting out your technical issues. We are going to proceed. Right, you will catch up. Okay. So my Jamaican people, without any delay, Mystic Sensation work, let us hear right, visit over Big Mama and hear the political optics and the media sensationalization over at NNN. And I don't know where they are going with this. You understand, as it relates to pushing out this child and thing. You know, I just absolutely don't know the political act in terms of where they are going with it, right? Because as I said, Joyland, right, former member of the People's National Party, and so then, I mean, that has no effect on the People's National Party. We have not reduced by any of our members of parliament, right? We moved from 14 to 28, and we still have 28. That's where we are going. Now, let us get...
Try again, Mr. Rattigan.
Mic check.
You're heavy, man. You're heavy like lead.
No, people, forgive me, as usual. The system, we had a difficult time getting on. We were here very early, and it's Kevin me have to call out. I'm busy doing something else. I'm have to call him, take him from it, and him try to get me on, and then the system, the sound part of it just.
Yes.
Anyway, good evening. Happy to be here Tuesday night, Mystic night, and big up.
Oops.
All right. Ratty fly off again. Right. So it might be Ratty have to call Kevin again. All right. But we go on operate until Ratty get back. We understand the jig as it relates to that. Technical difficulties, you know, will happen at times. So we have to move on. Now let us fire up people, because as I said, we are going to expose the belly of the beast tonight. Expose them tonight. Now, let us hear, as it relates to, we can visit over Big Mama and hear the propagandist, right? And the political optics that been going on there, right? So let us get to, all right, Brother Ratty. Brother Ratty want to complete his thing. Yes, Brother Ratty.
Yeah, good evening, good night, everyone. Good to be here. Apologies for being late. System down. Kevin is still on the line trying to work some things out on one of the screens. Looking forward to the conversation.
Blessings. Blessings, my brother. All right. Let us begin, right, as it relates to show the people when we talk about blind justice. And we have the evidence. So we are not just talking about blind justice. I want you to listen to this, my Jamaican people, because we are going to embarrass them.
We're watching very closely. We expect out of the gun court in the Supreme Court today a decision as to whether the Director of Public Prosecutions, Claudette Thompson, will accept the plea entered by the former Member of Parliament for Western St. Mary, Julian Silvera, indicating he intends to plead guilty to manslaughter in the shooting death of his wife, Melissa. So we're watching that carefully to see whether that happens, what the position of the prosecution is, what the position of the judge is. And, you know, this is such an important case, a case that a lot of people are paying attention to. And they're paying attention to it because almost all the elements, of true crime, of power and beauty and deception, all of those elements that you'd watch in a movie and it makes for compelling viewing, all of those elements are coming together in this matter. And a lot of people, if you just glance through the comments on social media, they're already making up their minds as to what power can achieve in this country. And I imagine those are things that the DPP will consider as to what it would indicate. I recall a term I saw some time ago, and I can't recall now who said it, but the term was judicial misogyny. That was the term used to describe a case, I think it was out of Manchester, where a gentleman flew into a jealous rage and shot, I think it was his girlfriend, in the forehead. And I think it was recorded, if I recall correctly. And he pled guilty to manslaughter. And the term used to describe the acceptance of that plea, because obviously a woman was brazenly, shockingly killed, was judicial misogyny. And my understanding of that term, as it was used then, was that the justice system allowed this man who did not adequate restraint and control to plead guilty to manslaughter and therefore secure for himself a lesser sentence. That's not to say that's what's happening in the Jolly and Silvera matter. I have no information on that, but it brought back my mind, brought me back to that case, that plea, and the description, judicial misogyny. And the question is, where a woman loses her life and the circumstances are unclear, I put it no stronger than that, unclear, as to how we could get from a peaceful death in her sleep to a charge of murder. That certainly raises questions, and it makes you wonder. And as I said, hearing of the intent to plead guilty to manslaughter, my mind was brought back to that case and the term used, judicial misogyny. We'll see the outcome. We're watching the gun court. As you know, the media not allowed in as per the provisions of the Gun Court Act. It's in camera. So we're waiting to hear whether the DPP accepts the plea and on what grounds she accepts it. And I'm sure whatever way it goes, whatever the decision is, there'll be much public comment about it.
Okay. All right. So then, based on your narrative, right, as it relates to your judicial misogyny, and so then you're upset to the fact that, of course, the reduction from murder to manslaughter, and you are building up the momentum, right, for the DPP not to do that because it's a cruel act, inhumane act being executed as it relates to Jylan Silvera wife. Now, let me be particularly careful. My condolences, right, to the family of the wife, right? And we are all in sympathy, right, with the situation. Let me put that out there clear. Now, let me deal with you, Big Mama. And let me deal in terms of delivering to the world that what happened here as it relates to Jylan Silvera wanting to make a plea of manslaughter. That's one issue. And so then some sense of justice prevailed. Jamaica, this is what I'm asking. What happened when worse than what Jylan Silvera had committed has not been pursued to put in the court and been blocked by the Jamaica Labour Party because of persons who are affiliated with Jamaica Labour Party? We are going to present cases, as a matter of fact, that worse than the Jylan Silvera situation. I am not saying that, okay, the situation as it relates to Jylan Silvera and what happened, right, is not a serious cause to concern. A life has been lost, right? And so, of course, we put that in mind and we bear that in mind. But where justice is concerned, you have no NNN, have no moral authority. The Jamaica Labour Party has no moral authority to speak on any issue as it relates to, particularly where Jarlan Silveira is concerned. No moral authority. And I'm going to bring up the first case to show the world that, of course, Jarlan Silveira, and I'm going to make a comparison. Jarlan Silveira has been rushed, put before the court, tried, and prosecuted. But let me say this. What happened to those cases, persons who are affiliated with the Jamaica Labour Party, where investigation has not been done thoroughly to put those cases in the judiciary, and those cases has worse indictment than Jarlan Silveira? My Jamaican people, follow me. We are going to bust their bubbles tonight. Now, honey, let us bring up the first case, right? Because they think that we forgot. We don't forget, right? And we are going to remind them tonight of the first case. We are going to remind them tonight, right, that at least some sense of justice done in the Jarlan, right? So JLP, Jamaica Labour Party, right? Big Mama, speak on this, Big Mama. No new info in Gabriel King case, says cop. This was a child. JLP Party, this was a kid. This was a child, an innocent child. That those who are affiliated with the Jamaica Labour Party, particularly where the mother is concerned, executed this child as a result of the fact that the child bear a situation of being handicapped, physically challenged. As a result of the child being physically challenged, who is you, NNN? You don't remember this, NNN? You don't remember this, Big Mama? You have no moral ground to speak on any subject matter as it relates to the situation with Jarlan. None of you over there. So let us get into the details to remind you. Montego Bay St. James, more than 2 years after the shocking murder of autistic 9-year-old Gabriel King, the investigation drags on as cops comb through his mother's phone. This is an embarrassment to Andrew Holness administration, embarrassment to the Commissioner of Police and this current Commissioner of Police. According to head of the Era 1 Police Division, Assistant Commissioner of Police Clifford Chambers, the police are still scrutinizing the iPhone Amai Leon Issa. So when you talk on your platform as it relates to Jarlan Silveira, to say a true crime of power and beauty, make a compelled viewing and what power can achieve. Well, listen to this. This is what power can achieve. Let me read back that over to you, Big Mama, the first paragraph. According to head of the Era 1 Police Division, Assistant Commissioner of Police Clifford Chambers, the police are still scrutinizing the iPhone Amai Leon Issa. Issa. This is what power can achieve. When you're big, mighty, and powerful. So you don't come with that garbage spin because you want to politicize the issue. Right? The iPhone Amai Leon Issa had at the time of Gabriel's death. Right? Affiliators of the Jamaica Labour Party. The crime been looking left and the antics you play to bring them to justice. To bring them to justice. Analysis is still being done on the phone. Chambers told the Jamaica Observer last week when contacted for an update on the King case. Justice delayed. Fire is justice denied. In November 2023, the Supreme Court ordered Leon Issa to hand over her phone's pass key to investigators probing the case. Let me tell you something. NNN, this is what power does when you have money and you can resist the same power that you are talking about. The ruling followed months of legal wrangling between her attorneys at the police over access to the device. Leon Issa had contended that her right to privacy was being breached. So if you're never involved in the death of your son, let me ask you, why you hold the device and not wanting the investigators to investigate? What are you hiding? Right? What are you hiding? So let us compare that with Jordan Silvera. Right? You have heard about an incident, crime committed, and you vigorously pursued, have him arrested, no bail, and have him prosecuted. What happened to this case? This is a child. This is a child. This is a 9-year-old child. On January 13, 2022, it was reported that young Gabriel had been kidnapped along the Tucker Main Road in Montego Bay, St. James. The child was later found dead in his mother's vehicle, which was abandoned off the Fairfield Main Road in the parish. This is vicious, cruel, more heinous than what transpired as it relates to the Joel and Silvera. You have no moral authority. You are 100% evil. Take this away. Let me show you another case that the Jamaica Labour Party need to prosecute. And so then let us compare again. Yes, you rush to justice as it relates to the Joel and Silvera. You did what you did. You have prosecuted him. Let us ask you about the next case that I'm bringing up. Take it away, wifey. Let me ask you which this case that I'm bringing up. And tell me.
2016, the body of Junior Jermaine was found inside the living room of prominent attorney Patrick Bailey. The house is located in Barbican, St. Andrew, and Mr. Jermaine's body reportedly had several stab wounds and a gunshot wound to the head. Opposition spokesman on national security Fitz Jackson outlines concerns about the investigation of that murder so far.
I have been bombarded with concerns expressed about major crime like murder. That gentleman who was murdered in Barbican over a year ago, murdered on Barbican Road. We all know it was in the house of a prominent Jamaican, very much connected with the political leadership of this country. Someone murdered. And from all the police reports up to now, nothing has been concluded.
The Gleaner reported in February last year that the police identified suspects in the murder of Mr. Jermaine.
Mr. Speaker, I had the opportunity to meet with the brother of the gentleman who was murdered. He went to the media. I read the reports. And I saw an audience with him. And the gentleman expressed his distress, his giving up on Jamaica. Because in his own words, some people not going to get justice in this country. This is a real situation. We get up and we tell the country about how serious we are about crime and violence and murder. But in a case where somebody was murdered in a house, where from the police report there was no forced entry, and over 1 year, no one is arrested, no one is charged, and rumors abound.
Mr. Jackson adds that the culture of silence is doing more harm than good.
We believe that if we keep quiet, don't say it, nobody knows, and it just go away. People know these things, and they see it happen. And that's why they lose trust in us, all of us. And they lose faith in.
So NNN, you are a piece of E. coli. You are 100% raw sewage. As I said, you have no moral authority to speak. No moral authority to speak. But you're a propagandist. You're a spin machine while the country suffer. And while you, Big Mama, help to pilfer from taxpayers $1.5 billion in government revenue. And so then you wish, sign your soul to the devil, turn your back on the prosperity of Jamaica, sinking your soul in hell. So on those two cases, tell me how you have any moral authority to speak on the Joyland issue. Shut up your mouth. Shut up your mouth. You are corrupted. Now let me speak to the DPP. Let me speak to the DPP. And let me speak to the commissioner. Are you going to pursue vigorously these two cases that I had just presented to bring forth justice, to show Jamaica and the world that you are transparent, fair, and balanced? Let me have melting pot to trump you down.
Well, Sir Byron, a peer slime justice we are getting at Jamaica. I would see it in a several high profile cases. Yeah. I would see where whenever it concerns any Jamaica Labour Party affiliate, them cases just sweep aside and dash where if it entails People's National Party affiliated member, yeah. And in the case of Sylvia, we're talking about a former People's National Party member of Parliament who over by St. Mary. Now, it's a different justice. We see where this man is wrongfully being brought in for trial of murder. When the initial report on the day when Mrs. Sylvia's body was found was that she died peacefully in her sleep. Now, I know for a fact that whenever you have such circumstance, yeah, and police turn up, who we know are first an investigator of a crime scene, yeah, other means of processing must be done on the spot, like photographic evidence of what the person, the deceased, looked like at the time when she was found. What are the circumstances of death? You understand? Because I know that's how investigation is being done when you have scenes of a murder. So you can't just go with hearsay and reporting and all these things. We need factual evidence like photographic image. Yes? Because there is controversy from day one. Because we initially heard that she died in her sleep, peacefully. Then the next thing we hear that, the circumstance changed. She was fatally shot. And then we hear that is the husband. But the husband at the time when the police came on the scene was not, they said that he was not at home, right? He came after her death. So the whole thing surround this case here is a slime, slime, we have dealing with things. Pulverize the justice system. Corruption turn slime. So we are asking for transparency in regard to this case. And when we hear about a case, if a prosecutor have strong evidence against an individual in a murder case, why would it be watered down to manslaughter based on the fact of a plea bargain? I can't understand that. That don't sit right with me. That don't sit right with me, Because if you strongly have a lead on an individual suspected in a murder case, yeah, how you going to ask for a plea bargain? I know manslaughter to be something that attached to road accident, yeah, where vehicle, demise individual and the driver charged and found for manslaughter. But in the case of a firearm circumstance, why would you downgrade that to manslaughter? That is murder, whether it's a love affair or a stranger or whatever. You understand? And in the case of Sylvia, marriage. Yeah? So I don't understand what is going on in the justice system. Yeah? But we have to look further and feeling.
Hold on. Melting pot. Hold on. It is Joel and Sylvia, right, who done that plea. Hold on.
Yes,
hold on.
but why?
Hold on, Melting pot. Let me clarify something here. Because I don't want it seems as if, we are defending what is ultimately wrong. If Joel and Sylvia, let me speak it clearly. If Joel and Sylvia committed that crime, he is to face the penalty.
That's what I'm saying.
Hold on, just let me finish, Melting Pot. I want to get it distinctively clear that if Joel and Sylvia committed this offense, he is to be punished accordingly. I have no problem with that. Let me say this. If I am not guilty of an offense, I am not going to take any damn plea bargain. Point blank and period. Let me guide your thoughts, Melting Pot. All right, go ahead.
And that's the point I am making, Sir Byron. Yeah, because initially, Joel and Sylvia plead innocent. Yeah, because if he weren't there, then he couldn't be the person charged with the responsibility of Mrs. Sylvia death. So I'm saying they say that he is the one, charged with the death of his wife. So I'm saying then if you say that the man is charged with the death of his wife, yeah, why you are saying to this gentleman that he must enter a plea bargain to arrive at a manslaughter charge? That's the question I'm asking. Because this can be the true reality of how them, go about arriving at justice. If Sylvia is the person who did the crime, he must be charged. He's not different from anyone who has been charged previously for a circumstance like this. Right? And we're not using any form of party affiliation or who this gentleman was, whether he is of high influence in a society or from the echelon in a society. It's a crime we're talking about. And the charge must be, right across the board for everybody. But in the case of Sylvia, from day one, it's muddy and it's spooky. Because there were certain allegations, tying Miss Sylvia to a piece of land them called Kobe. And whatever, negotiation was up for Kobe. I don't know. But the Kobe incident was initially tied to this lady demise. And if Mr. Joel and Sylvia is not the person, he should not enter into any plea bargain. Justice must be done the right and proper way. Because you can't find a person, yeah, in bed, and you said the person died of natural cause peacefully. But then days after we hear say gunshot wound. So we want to see photographic evidence of when you found the body. Was there a gunshot wound on the body? Or you arrive at gunshot wound after initially stating that the person died peacefully in their bed? What type of investigation can go like that? So right there I have a problem with the investigation and the first initial news that break to the society. This woman found died in her bed peacefully. Days after, them discover gunshot. Come on. Something wrong. The system slimy. You understand? And people must come out and speak out on this. And many other more cases that you have highlighted. Yeah, Gabriel King. Yeah, Junior case. And many more cases to them. And we just see them just gone down in a file 13. Yeah, so we ask what happened to the justice system in the country. It is in shambles and people must call out to what it is. We can't just silent and have these people who are legislators coming out, putting in some laws. The laws don't, go across the board for everybody. It go for some and it go against some. So we can't have that type of situation in our country, man. Yeah, this case here, it's not right. People know a lot about this case. Yeah, because as I said, this lady, yeah, have affiliation to Kobe, and Kobe was a piece of land where caused a lot of controversy with some high official. Yeah, and we see so much of these type of spooky killing going on in Jamaica. And we want to find the root of the cause. So if the justice system in Jamaica cannot find the root of the cause, then we have to look for justice elsewhere. Because we can't allow these people who preside over the justice system to use it at their disposal to suit their own narrative and who they want to please. Yeah? Why would Mr. Silvera come out and go in a plea bargain when he claimed to be innocent in the first place? This not look good if him do that. I don't know that's what them saying, but it not look good. If me not kill my wife from day one, 90 days or 100 days down the line, at the same thought when me give up from day one, I never kill my wife. You can't get me. I rather rotten in a prison. Rotten in a prison because my wife gone, She gone rotten and eat the earth. So the kids them are out there, yeah, them a grow and they must have family relatives can take care of them. But me I go rotten in a prison because me I go stand by my initial claim that I did not murder my wife. You can't get me into no plea bargain. That not look good. I can't understand how the justice system are run. So why are several youth, yeah, no get no plea bargain to enter into? You don't just send them like that. Something wrong with the Silvera trial. This cannot be a trial that has gone through the right process, where we have people doing them work properly and professionally. These people that sit in the judicial system, they are taking kickback from people with vast amount of money that they steal in the country, that bind them way through the justice system. And we're not blind. It is plain and obvious this is what is taking place in the Silvera case. So we are asked, some more independent inquiry now into this case here, because it seems like it needs an independent body now to go through with some more further inquiry and ask some serious questions to who are preside over this case. Yeah? Why was a plea bargain put in front of Mr. Jailan Silvera? For him to even entertain the thought of going down that road. I yield back the floor.
All right, Melting Pot. Well said. But let me say this. And this is going to appeal to all of us critical thinking skills. Let me say this. If there's a situation as it relates to, that murder situation, where Jail and Silvera is. My perspective, my subjective opinion, I want Jamaica to listen to me. If I am not guilty of an offense, this is me, no? This is me. No criminal justice system can say, okay, all right, we are going to, for a prosecution of might be 50 years or 60 years or 70 years. And if you don't come into a plea bargain, that is what you are going to get. Remember, I'm not guilty. Remember, Jamaican people, listen. We have an appellate process. We have an appeal court that can look in the breakdown of certain procedures. Now, if I am 100% innocent, right? 100% innocent. No system, none whatsoever, can tell me to take a plea to avoid whatever sentence that I'm going to get. None. Not one. I am innocent. And if I have to rot in the prison, I am going to rot in there because I am innocent. Let us decide for that. Let us think about that. I am here tonight. What do you think I am defending? They think I come to defend Jail and Silvera? No. I come to speak about justice. And justice must not be selective. I come to speak about blind justice. That in the pursuit to get a conviction as it relates to Jailan, we want a pursuit as it relates to getting conviction, as it relates to Patrick Bailey's case. The Jermaine case that got Jermaine who got killed in Patrick Bailey's house. We want to see justice done as it relates to Gabriel. Justice must not be one-sided or selective. And so then, as it relates to my stand and my subjective opinion, must not use this as a political optics. What does it benefit the country? We are talking about justice. If Jail and Silvera is guilty, he has to pay the consequence. We don't defend that round us up. I will not go defend that. We don't privy to the evidence. We are not privy to the evidence. Mark that clear. We are not privy to the evidence. But we are saying in terms of what we witness to. You taking a plea bargain. If I am not guilty, I am not going to take a plea bargain and not take back my word. And that's where Mystic Sensation stand up. And let me bring in Ratty. Yes, right.
Yeah. Good night again. There's so much to unpack here. Passionate Mystic.
Yes.
All right. Well, we are dealing with justice now, right? And I think it's best to start out with the definition, because people, if you don't understand what things mean, then it's kind of difficult for you to grasp certain concepts. One of them is that murder is defined as the unlawful killing with malice aforethought. That means premeditation. You plan to kill the person. And as if you listen to Mystic for any period of time, you've heard him talk about mens rea and actus reus. Guilty mind and a guilty act. You need those two to prove murder. Now, as a general rule, you find that defendants in criminal cases, they plead not guilty at the initial hearing. And there are lots of reasons for that. The attorney might have said, and remember, the defendants are guided by attorneys, not by themselves, because they're not experts in the law. And so one of the aspects of pleading not guilty is to see what evidence the prosecution has, because there's a thing called discovery. At some point in the trial, they have to turn over everything that they have, almost everything, to you. And there is something called exculpatory evidence, which means that it's evidence that shows that you probably didn't commit the crime. Because remember, what's the standard of proof in a criminal case? Beyond a reasonable doubt. And if there's evidence that show that it quite possibly it may not have been you, that's reasonable doubt. And that's why a lot of time, you know, most times, at least in my experience, you're going to hear whether the person is guilty or innocent. The person is going to show up at initial hearing and said not guilty, because you want to test the evidence that they have. And believe me, a lot of criminals have gotten off because of procedural errors. What are the procedural errors? Like tainted evidence, like compromised crime scenes, like violations of certain criminal procedures. And you've seen people get off without even getting to the substance of the matter. The lawyer will get up and say, Judge, they violated, you know, my client's due process. They interviewed him without the presence of an attorney. They badgered him. They threatened him. They coerced him, because a statement must be given freely and willingly. And if they say, oh, they tortured him, whatever he said cannot be used. So that's why you'll hear them say, we're going to plead not guilty. Sometimes you'll see that they catch the guy red-handed, and when he shows up for his initial hearing, he'll say not guilty. Because what? You want to test the evidence. You want to see what they have and how you can combat it. Now, regarding this gentleman who pleaded not pleaded that, well, they're saying he was offered a plea for manslaughter. Manslaughter now is the unlawful killing without malice or premeditation, without the guilty mind. You have the guilty act, but you don't have the guilty mind. And remember, for murder, you have to prove both. No, manslaughter, you have voluntary manslaughter and you have involuntary manslaughter. And I'm just giving you the American standard. I suspect that, you know, Jamaica has similar laws. Voluntary manslaughter. Remember now, manslaughter is where you kill someone, but you didn't plan to kill the person. Voluntary manslaughter is where you come home one day and you open up your bedroom door and you see your wife in a compromising position with somebody, and you have your weapon on you and you just draw it and you just shoot. They call that heat of passion crime. And they say, you know, you can't charge that person for murder. So that's voluntary manslaughter. Then you have the involuntary manslaughter, where you're driving down the street and you hit somebody and kill them. You never intend to do that. You go around the corner, but you're going too fast. It's reckless. So involuntary manslaughter. So we don't know what evidence, at least I don't know what evidence the prosecution has. I don't know. They initially, I believe the charge was murder, but when they looked at the evidence, they may say, hey, we can't prove intent. We can't prove that he intended to kill her. Regardless of what the autopsy shows, saying that, you know, if the autopsy shows, okay, she died from a gunshot wound. How do you prove intent when there are no witnesses there, whatever? How do you need something else? You need to connect. You need some connecting facts. And if all you have is that Well, he was in the house with her and she's dead. Is that murder or is that manslaughter? We don't know. We don't know what kind of facts they have. Originally, they wanted to charge him with, originally they charged him with murder, but they may have looked at their things and said, look, if we charge him with murder and we cannot prove the essential facts beyond a reasonable doubt, he's going to walk. So maybe we're better off just giving him a lower charge or a lesser charge, and call it, and say, look, manslaughter, which is, it's considerable in terms of penalty, considerably less than murder. And he might just say, okay, fine. No, having said that, there are a lot of innocent people who, based on advice from attorneys, they plead guilty. Now, Mystic, you said, I would rather rot in jail. But sometimes them say circumstances alter cases. You may have a case where you are with a group of people and the person, they kill somebody and they're saying that you were there and you don't have a good alibi. And so they're charging all of you with murder. And they look at you and say, okay, we can give you manslaughter. We can we give you a plea down to manslaughter. And then the person is looking at it and going, well, it's either manslaughter where I spend I may spend 5 years in prison and then come out on probation, or it's murder and I'm looking at 25. And sometimes, because you see, a lot of people don't have the mindset like you, Mystic, like you say, if I didn't do it, I'm not pleading guilty to anything. I'd rather rot or go through the appeals process. Some people just look at it and say, "Bye, them set me up, them free me. I don't have a good attorney, and so I'll just take the plea."
Right.
I've seen that.
Could I interject here a bit in terms of clarify some things? Now, you and I know, Ratty, that in a case of murder, the burden of proof that required would be proof beyond a reasonable doubt. You speak about mens rea, which goes to the intent of the crime, and you have spoken about actus reus, which means the action carried out. Now, let us go a little bit further. In the process, we have a thing called discovery, Ratty. Simply means that every single information that gathered by the prosecution team, right, has to be shared with the defense lawyer. Am I correct?
Yes.
So it simply means that they are going to look on all the evidence that going against them. They have the advantage, they have the opportunity in terms of my policing experience that they would have seen all the evidence against them. Now, the lawyer would have a discussion with his client in saying that, okay, based on the evidence provided, and as it relates to your alibi, because one of the things that we have to look on, Ratty, human being is not omnipresent. He's not here, there, and everywhere at the same time. It simply means that if you have an alibi, you should be able to establish that alibi that is going to take you out of that circumstances, right? As it relates to investigation. So let me say this now, Ratty. When they look, as it relates to Jailan lawyers, as it relates to the evidence that's stuck against Jailan, I can understand his choice in taking a lesser plea, right? Because you are going to calculate. You will know the evidence against you. your lawyer is going to know the evidence against you, and it is the responsibility for the prosecutor to hand over all the evidence collected by the prosecutor to the defense counsel. It is not the defense counsel that if the defense counsel find any evidence that can set his client free, that the defense counsel need to hand it over to the prosecution. No. Based on law, based on constitutional law, it is the prosecution that every single evidence being collected by the prosecutor must be handed over to the defense attorney. So you tell me, Ratty, when you present with that, it gives the prosecution the leeway to come with a plea bargain. Because again, as it relates to the threshold of the burden of proof, so we have to talk to these people to make them understand. The threshold of the burden of proof for murder, right, may be difficult to prove based on what you have. But again, you being jailer, you are going to calculate that, yo, listen, this is really a 50-50 chance. I don't want to take this chance, right? And then I am wrong. And so then you are going to look, it is human enough. You are going to take what? The better way out in terms of your interest. So if I am in the position where Jailan sits in, and I'm not saying, let me say this, let me say this clear because I want people to get me. I want people to get me. Right? People need to take out the politics out of this thing as it relates to the Jailan case. Let us take out the politics, people. What one has to understand, that the criminal justice system, right, have layers. So put it this way then, as it relates to what some people are saying in the chat room, that okay, because Jailan affiliated with the PNP, right, they are going to find him guilty anyway. Jamaica people, listen, and that's why you find it said, you know, it is important, right, to have civic knowledge and understand how the judiciary operate. So put it this way, that okay, right, he affiliated with the PNP, and so then you're going now, the judge is biased, right? The judge is going to find him guilty anyway. Put it away. Let us put it away. The appeal court is going to examine the procedures, examine the evidence, and they are going to see the breakdown. All right, let me give a perfect example. Said that as it relates to the murder, we have one pathologist. Listen to what I'm saying, people. I'm speaking to you as it relates to critical things. So any bullet fragment found in the body, who is going to find that? Think of what I'm saying. It is going to be the pathologist. It is going to be that scientific evidence of the pathologist. So then, to have Joel and Silvera, right? If you want to say that, okay, all right, political biasness. By you saying that, you are challenging the pathologist's report. So you are saying also that the pathologist is biased. Now, when it comes to the bullet fragment, you are going to have what you call a ballistic footprint. Rattigan is here, and I'm not talking out of term. I am in my faculty of criminal justice. So let me speak. You are going to have a ballistic footprint of the bullet fragment. So that when all those evidence being presented, and you see that, if you are in Jylan's shoes, then you will understand as to why you don't want to take that plea bargain. So then the prosecutor and Jylan lawyer will have a discussion as it relates to the plea bargain.
Let me ask a silly question, because if she got shot,
Yes.
if she got bullets in her, that
Yes.
means she was shot.
Yes.
Then when somebody gets shot, because we've dealt so many times with people coming in with gunshot wound, there's always blood.
Yes.
So how could she have been at her house? They said that, okay, she died in her sleep. They went to the house, took her to one funeral, took her to the next one, and then found the bullet later. Make it make sense to me.
Okay, all right, listen. I am not going to speak on the police who investigate the matter, because what you're asking, you're pointing to the police investigation who investigate, you understand, the scene of the crime.
Yeah.
The first investigator on the scene of the crime. He must know what he observed and what he want to report on. So I am not going to discuss that. He must know what he wants to report on. I am talking about scientific evidence. Scientific evidence. Ballistic footprint 1. Right? Now, the thing is, I am saying here, from my perspective, that if you have an alibi, say that, okay, all right, you've been framed. You weren't there on the scene, I'm just saying. You have to be able to present that alibi, because guess what? No human being has the ability of being omnipresent here, there, and everywhere at the same time. You cannot be in St. James and be in Kingston at the same time. So if you said you were at St. James, there should some evidence to support your alibi. And when you put that evidence and that evidence tested to be solid, then they cannot put you or place you on the scene of the crime. Come on, people. Right? I am saying that, okay, all right. If the crime committed 8 o'clock, let me just make it basic and very simple. If the crime committed 8 o'clock, and at 8 o'clock, as it relates to the crime, the time frame, and at 8 o'clock, I was at work, and it showed that I clocked in at 7:30 at a different area, and I worked there between 7:30 and blah blah blah. Now you have CCTV on the property, and CCTV is going to show that, okay, yes, indeed, I came in and I clocked in at 7:30, and CCTV also show that I did not leave the property in terms of that time period. How are they going to place me on the scene of the crime if the crime committed 8 o'clock? Want to see what I say, people? What you got? Am I making sense? Speak if I'm making sense.
Let me add something to that. I was contacted about, I don't know, 2 years, 3 years ago by an inmate who claimed that he had spent something like 20-something years in prison for a crime, a murder that he did not commit. The murder was committed in the Bronx, and he claimed he was in Manhattan. He went to trial, he lost. He appealed, he lost. And he continued throughout the years. That man is free today. It's free. Wrongfully convicted. I didn't get, just to be clear, he contacted me, but I didn't represent him at the appeal. There is an initiative in the criminal justice system in America called the Innocence Project. I cannot begin to tell you how many people they were successful in getting released from prison based on DNA evidence, based on circumstantial evidence, based on a whole range of things. So innocent people go to prison. Innocent, let me repeat that. Innocent people go to prison. And you would think that innocent people wouldn't go to prison because they have an alibi. But we have seen instances where the prosecutor didn't turn over exculpatory evidence, meaning evidence that would show that this person is not involved or wasn't involved in the crime. Or you have eyewitnesses who said, yes, we saw him. And the thing happened that night. No street lights, nothing, but somehow they saw him. And the jury, remember, jury, your peers, they said, yeah, we believe that this witness saw and later identified this person as being the perpetrator. So a lot of things go into a criminal investigation and a criminal trial and a criminal appeal. A lot of factors. So the fact that this man pled, or I don't know if he's about to, but my understanding is that he was offered a plea. Keep in mind, people, that in Jamaica, a manslaughter conviction, depending on the crime, the judge has the discretion to sentence you. And he could sentence you to probation. Not parole. Probation, meaning no time served. Or he could say a year house arrest. He could say 2 years house arrest. Murder is a different kettle of fish. Now, if I were representing this gentleman, right, one of the things I would look at is, okay, if they give you if you plead guilty to manslaughter, we could probably impress upon the court that yes, you should be punished, but you should be punished at home, for example. And here is why, one of the things that you will be thinking about. If you say, okay, I'm going to go to trial. If you say I'm going to go to trial because I didn't do it, and you're found guilty, then you have to appeal. And appeal cases in Jamaica take a long time. Murder cases in Jamaica take a long time. So you might be balancing it and say, you know what? Rather than spend all of that time maybe in prison or with this hanging over my head and the possibility of actually being found guilty at some point and going to prison, I might as well take a plea for manslaughter and ask for mercy of the court. And the judge might say, okay, you know what? I give you a year in prison, and then you have, you get parole, and I give you 2 years or whatever. And then when you look at it, you say, okay, 3 years. If you're looking at it and you're calculating, you just say, okay, you spend 1 year in prison or 18 months and you're out. And then you can continue with your life. Or you go and spend another, I don't know, maybe 10 years, 15 years, and all of this money trying to get exoneration. So these are things that the lawyer have to sit down with the person and say, listen, here, you have to balance it. You're not guilty. I believe you're not guilty, but we're up against a system. All right. And like I said, guilty people go to prison every day. Somewhere in this world, a guilty person is going to prison now. Somewhere. and you don't want to be that person. I mean, an innocent person, sorry, is going to prison because they have a bad lawyer, or because they have bad facts, or because the evidence just there's no exculpatory evidence. The evidence indicates that they're guilty when in truth and in fact they're not. And believe me, people, if you disbelieve me, just look up Innocence Project and look at the amount of people that they got exonerated, people who were serving life sentences, some people on death row, and they start hammering at they went back and they start looking at the evidence, and they come up with a legal theory, or they come up with something that say, wait a minute, they use evidence that was tainted, and then when they present that to an appeals court, judge look at that and say, well, yeah, this man should have never been convicted with this evidence. The trial judge made an error and allowed certain, and look, they can make error also with jury instructions. They can make error with, the trial can be smooth, but when the judge is giving the jury the instruction and give them the wrong instructions, I've seen that. And people are found guilty, and then they appeal and say, hey, the trial judge gave bad jury instructions. And them just say, okay, yeah. They look at it and they say, you're right. He shouldn't have given these instructions for them to decide the case, because they tend to, based on the instructions he's given them, it would appear to as if that the jury had no choice but to find you guilty. They didn't look at it objectively. So with this case, with somebody pleading guilty, I'm telling you, we need more facts. And like your wife said, like Lady Anne-Marie said, you shoot somebody, what you're going to get? You're going to get blood. And somehow it was said she died in her sleep, and then she moved a couple of times. And so now you have a problem now with the forensics. And then you have a problem with the pathology. How come nobody saw this bullet hole in this woman? Nobody saw blood. Nobody saw anything that would have them think, wait a minute. Something is wrong. How did she die peacefully in her sleep, or we see blood all over the sheet? How? And nobody saw that wound until sometime down the road? No, man. So there's a lot going on that we don't know. And like I started out saying that, yes, we don't know the evidence that is within the province of the DPP. We don't know. But all I'm saying is that there are many, many factors that would lead a prosecutor to offer a plea. And sometimes, it works both ways. Sometimes the defendant can say, listen, you know what? I will just go ahead and just plead guilty. And if you will do this, if you will take this charge off the table, it works both ways.
All right. Ratty, let me just say this in terms of what you are saying there, right? And as it relates to the point that my wife raised. Now, you and I, right, we have gone through experience as it relates to crime scene management, Ratty. Let us talk about crime scene management. And crime scene management is going to tell you that, okay, particularly when we are dealing with murder as it relates to crime scene management, one of the first things that we are going to do as it relates to crime scene management is to cordon off the affected or the impacted area. Am I wrong or right?
You're right.
Okay. Now, if I am the first investigator on the scene, I am going to cordon off that particular area. And the reason for me to cordon off that particular area is to secure all evidence within the affected or the impacted area. Having done that, right, based on our training, we are going to comb through the crime scene, right, in a very peculiar way in terms of photograph all possible evidence that need to be photographed. We are going to collect all necessary statement that needs to be collected.
One quick thing. When you start talking about a murder case, make sure that they're dressed properly because they can contaminate the crime scene.
Exactly. Right? And so that is one of the reasons why we cordon off the area, so that unauthorized person may not enter the area. That is the reason why we cordon it off. So that the respective persons who dealing with the investigation, right, are the persons who are allowed to enter that crime scene and collect the evidence, right, as it relates to the process of evidence collection. Right?
Also,
yes,
you have to make sure that even the detectives and all those people who are investigating the crime scene, that they're properly dressed. What do I mean by that? You remember the OJ case, right?
Yes.
When the investigators came in and they came in wearing shoes without the covering over it.
Exactly.
And a point was made that, hey, coming from outside the crime scene, inside to inside the crime scene.
You're talking about cross
exactly.
Okay. So, all right. And you know the reason why I brought up this, Ratty? That when we talk about the investigator report, we don't know for sure how skillful that investigator was in terms of capturing all the detailed evidence that ought to be captured. Now, what people don't understand, that if the investigator gone wrong, it simply means that the prosecutor is going to be on a wrong footing, because the evidence that collected by the investigator, if it has not done properly, right then and there, crack into the prosecution case. You agree with me, Ratty?
I agree. Plus, remember, you have chain of custody issues.
Exactly.
We know y'all come to that. We know y'all come to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? And so then you mention chain of custody, right? Particularly when you are dealing with blood, right? The collection of blood. Not only the collection, the collection have to be done correctly, and the storing has to be done properly to keep the integrity of the evidence, right? So then, in all of this, I am saying this to say that all of this information that we are talking about, my people, would be shared to the defense. The defense would have access looking all over every evidence that going against his client. Am I wrong or right, Ratty?
You're right.
Okay. But you must also remember that the body is the main evidence. And when it comes to a medical examiner case, however the body is found, that's how it should be left, whatever it was dressed in or whatever, that's how it should be left and baggaged and transferred for examination in a case like that. So I am still at a loss as to how,
All right. So if there's a situation, Ratty, right, that okay, you have one pathologist in Jamaica at correct, and said for Joyland then, he doesn't trust the system. And Joyland said, you know what? I want, just for argument's sake, I want an independent pathologist so that you can have two opinions, whether both opinion is going to corroborate each other or you're going to have an inconsistency in terms of, what both pathologists look on. Now, if there's a system that rejects the offer of Joyland wanting an independent pathologist, then, of course, Joyland would have a case to argue with in saying that, okay, all right, for whatever reason, he doesn't trust the system, right? But he was not allowed to have his independent pathologist being utilized. What about that, Ratty?
Yeah, you can ask for an independent pathologist, particularly in a system where you don't trust the mechanism within that system. Yes.
Exactly.
And then you said something a while ago, said that the prosecutor would have to provide the defendant with all of the evidence going against him or her, but also they have to provide all of the evidence that doesn't go against him or her, the exculpatory evidence. You can't hide those things, because if you hide them, that is a violation right there.
Right here.
That's a violation right there. If you have evidence that shows that this man, and it's happened many times before, and it's going to happen again. It's probably happening right now someplace where the prosecutor, they become fixated on one person and said, this is the person we think is guilty. Then they come across a piece of evidence that would cause problems with the standard proof beyond a reasonable doubt. Because remember, it's a high standard, and they say, no, we're not going to show this, and then they just suppress, they just hide that, and then later on it comes out that, hey, they had a piece of evidence here that showed that quite possibly this person was not the perpetrator of the crime, and they didn't share it. That's a problem right there, big problem. And here is a key problem.
Yes,
it's a key problem. In Jamaica, generally, you don't have the investigator being linked up with the prosecutor from the get-go.
Yes.
Generally, that doesn't happen. Right? It happens, but I don't think that's the standard that every murder case, the prosecutors assigned to it and they start working immediately. And what happens when you have something like that is you need a guide, because remember, the police, they won't be prosecuting the case. They will be witnesses.
Mm-hmm.
It will be the lawyer prosecuting the case. And if you don't have the lawyer from Jump Street and that investigator makes a mistake, sometimes it is fatal to the case. By the time the prosecutor gets it, them can't correct it. And it could be a number of things. It could be witness statements, it could be identification, it could be forensics, it could be anything. It could be anything. And that is what is necessary in Jamaica, so that for you to have a prosecutor link up with the police investigator from the outset, to avoid problems later on that you try to correct. So there you go.
All right. Well done. We could just dismiss that fast and quick, and we go on some more serious case now. We are going at the corruption now. Serious corruption as it relates to Andrew Holness. And this subject matter is quite serious, right? Now, we are going to talk about all the relief aid that Andrew Holness, right, had collected as it relates to liquid cash, or cash, if you want to say that, right? And, what is offering. And as I said earlier, that what it appears to me in terms of, what I am looking at is that Andrew Holness, right, first and second administration, because remember, he's serving now third term, his first and second administration where he had done, right, consistent corruption, right, he is now using, right, as it relates to the Hurricane Melissa, right, money being collected, right, the IMF loans and so forth, right, wanting to use money from that, right, to pad the gap of the corruption that he had done in the first and second administration. Now, people, why am I saying this? We are going to track certain things, right, and we are going to put forward certain things. Now, let us get to the first clip and hear what Andrew Holness has to say. So, let us get to the first clip and hear what Andrew Holness has to say. We are going to show some shocking thing as it relates to, as I said, the amount of assistance, the amount of aid, and 20% of the Jamaican people have not been facilitated by this man. Now listen.
I will be asking MOCA to do a sampling for fraud in the recovery grants. In other words, we have to check that if you got a grant, that you actually use it for the purpose you got the grant for, and that you're not defrauding the government. Checking the grant, say you're going to do something with it, and you're going to do something else.
Hold on the Jamaican people. What Andrew one has just said?
Says the man who tell people donation and use them on purpose.
Hold on. Now, just imagine Jamaica. That this man's statutory declaration cannot be certified. For how much years? And hear the hypocrite. Listen to this hypocrite. Listen to this hypocrite.
That's not fair because somebody else who actually needed it could have gotten that grant. So I want to sound the warning clearly that if you get the grant, the portion of the grant that is directed at your roof, fix your roof. These are the kind of things that we will be checking on. Now, the way in which we are giving the grants now, it might not be so easy to do that because the grants are restricted as to where you can spend them.
But hold on, Andrew. You get all the aid that you can get, right? All the cash that you can get in terms of relief aid.
Okay, investigating him to make sure he use it for right.
And yet, you sit on it, and you now ask Mocha to investigate you to ensure that all the money that you get and all the relief that you get for the Jamaican people, you are to ensure that you deliver accordingly. Mighty God. Now, here you are asking Mocha, right, to have oversight on these issues. Let me ask you a question, Andrew. What happened to the oversight that you need to have in terms of all the aid that you have collected, all the money you have collected? What I am going to show tonight, people go and shock. People go and shock in terms of what I'm going to show tonight. Look on this.
What you can spend them on, but people can still find their ways and we will be checking. We cannot be spending $10 billion. That's what we're spending, a lot of money. And we are not.
$10 billion is not a lot of money. You should be spending a lot more. Because it's not your money. You should be spending a lot more. And we want to show the people them tonight. Really, you should be spending a lot more. How wicked and you're evil.
Seeing the benefit of it in the roofs being restored. Spend it on restoring your roof.
So if
I will be asking Mocha.
If they are going to spend only $10 billion as it relates to hurricane relief aid, so what happened to the rest of it, sir? What happened to the rest of it? Where the rest of it gone? Mr. Me go and show the people them what they go on.
To do a sampling for fraud in the recovery.
Now, people, all right, we could get into this. We could get into this fast. Look at this, people, in terms of the investigation that I had done. Let me talk to the people on it before you do that. So let me show the people you understand how to deal with your search. My Jamaican people, when you are searching for certain things, right, and you use the Google search engine, what the Google search engine is going to do, and I'm going to demonstrate it, it is going to give you what we call an AI generation. That search engine, as it relates to Google search engine, is going to search all websites, right, that bearing that information. And it is going to present a summary detail to you. You can either scroll down and go on the independent website, but I don't do that because I want a summarized, right, report, right, that search through all the website and summarize and present the information to you. That is one of the most effective way, you understand, to do your research. So whenever you do a Google search engine, you will see that the search engine comes up, but below, right, the presented information or the summarized information below, you will have the various websites that you can go on and get it. You understand? But I do the summary to show you, Jamaica, how vicious Andrew Honest did. So look on the summary that I have done that definitely search all the website and present the facts. Look, yes, honey, go to the first document. We are going to expose the viciousness of Andrew Honest, right? Around here, you understand, as it relates to my subscribers who follow me, this is an investigation channel, and we don't play around here. Yes, where did all the money the Jamaica government receive? So that was the heading of my research.
Remember that I could get that one. This one is in video form.
Oh, hold on, people. Let me show you what's being searched here. Right, this.
Oh, the document you want?
Yes.
You said weirded, and that is what.
No, a document. Let us present the documentation of my search and to show you effectively what we have done. Andrew Honest, you are one of the most evil and corrupted person, right? You can try all the cyber act law where you want to pass, where you want to do in a parliament. You can't prevent us from talking and defend our people. We are showing the people. Here it is, people. So I search, and this is what coming up. Following Hurricane Melissa, and you see that is an AI overview of all the websites that they put together. Following Hurricane Melissa, Jamaica secured significant rapid payout insurance assistance, including a 150 million US catastrophe bond, 100% payout. Melting pot, you come down next morning, you write down them thing in a melting pot. Write it down. Rattigan, write it down for me, please, because we are busting bubbles tonight. So we are talking about 150 million from the US catastrophe bond, 100% payout. When you write that down, Rattigan, please, and melting pot, please and thanks, write it down for me. From the World Bank, a record 70.8 million US dollars from the Caribbean. Write down that 70.8 million US dollars from the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility, which is the CCRIF. This was installed by the People's National Party for tropical cyclone and excess rainfall coverage and access to a 300 million US dollars IDB contingent credit facility. So Rattigan and Melting Pot, please write down the $150 million. We're going to show Jamaica how wicked Andrew Honest is tonight. You think we are ramping them? 70.8 million US dollars, right? And the access to. So he has access, if you want to draw down on the 300 million US dollars IDB contingent credit facility, he can do so. Now, so there it is. All right, so take it away. Let us get to the second document on it. Tonight, we are going to show the world how vicious this man is. And this is the reason why I know that what he is doing is trying to get money, siphon money, right from the hurricane disaster, you understand, to pad as it relates to the corruption that he committed in his first and second administration. The Auditor General is saying over $3 trillion unaccounted for, and Andrew Honest is on the mission to fix this. You understand? But we are going to hold him accountable. The People's National Party now control the PAC and the PAAC. We are going to hold him accountable. Now, contingent credit, 300 million US dollars available for the IDB. Don't write that down, Melting Pot and Rattigan. That is the continuation. Now, write down this now. 42 to 84 million US dollars available under the World Bank Group catastrophe deferred drawdown option. That is another thing. Now, and national reserve of 37 million US dollars from the government of Jamaica contingency fund and national natural disaster reserve for fun. We are going to show Jamaica how vicious this brother is. You think you are making him get away? Kill me dead. Me now make him suffer my Jamaican people. You understand? Me that track him, that every eyes and cross all the team. Me now make him get to an inch. Now, him don't know somebody upon him back. You know watch this now, people. We could go to Jamaica Gleaner. You understand? Because we, right? We don't do no propaganda around here. Show facts. We are show people. Let me show you. Let me go. Make a bus. No, come people. You know, come with me. When we done with him tonight. Now, Cayman Island. And me I read from mainstream media. Andrew Wallace is one of the wickedest person that exists in the Caribbean. I'm going to put you before Hitler. You are wicked. You are cruel. Me to put you before Hitler. Cayman Islands sent $1 million US dollars to support Jamaica hurricane recovery. We could just read a little piece of it. Right? This was part of the US 1.2 million pledge made in October last year in the wake of hurricane. Melting Pot and Rattigan won't want to write it down. The money will be used for a community voucher program, education recovery, and agricultural restoration. And now, we don't see no agricultural restoration. We don't see no education recovery. And now, October 30, in the immediate aftermath of the storm, the government sent a shipment of emergency relief supplies valued at nearly 200,000 US dollars, which was delivered by a delegation led by Premier Andre Ibanks. Officials explained that the voucher program, which accounts for 333,000 US of the funds sent, enables residents in need to purchase building materials for home repairs while also stimulating economic activity in the affected communities. And now, as we speak, Andrew Holness can show that 5% of those who are affected house rent bill. Take that away and we could give them more information. We are come down, Papa. Take that away, honey. We could get into the next report. Right then and there. We are sure the people who are going here saying, right? Because ADPEM, you have to come out. You have to come out ADPEM when we're done with it tonight. Right? Yes. You have to come out ADPEM when we're done with it tonight. Andrew Holness, you said that you were going to have, right, oversight. Where is what call it? Nera? Where is Nera? You're a wicked piece of crook. You're a crook. No, play this, honey.
He made a $1 million donation to humanitarian aid organization Direct Relief to assist with expected recovery efforts following Hurricane Melissa. At Jamaica's request, Direct Relief has prepared one.
Right, Ratty and Melting Pot. Make sure someone write it down, you know. All right.
100 field medic packs for deployment, each pack containing first aid and triage supplies for frontline responders. If you would like to help, we have a list of the South Florida organizations collecting donations.
All right. No, we not done yet, you know, people. Mister, we not done yet, people. We don't finish yet. Only play the next one. When me tell you, say the man is corrupt and wicked and cruel and thief. We don't make him get right now. Me say, trust me. We don't make sure, say, you put in the judiciary now, Andrew. It's just a matter of time. See that, people? See the evidence? NFL owner announced $2.5 million donation for Hurricane Melissa relief. People know what if you see about wickedness of Andrew Wallace and the Jamaican people. Look at it. With the most powerful of the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season still wreaking havoc, and NFL owner is doing his part to help out those in need. You talk about only $10 billion you pay of your money. You only pay out $10 billion. Eh? We don't look on JPS. Right? No, we don't know how much money you take on the JPS to say 150 million US. Eh? We don't know how much money you take for all the people and money on the JPS. And let me ask you a question. Who give Michael Leachin the bailout? Me say, who give Michael Leachin the bailout? You're a wicked. Hey, listen me. I don't want to use any form of colonial language tonight, you know. Me maintain my peace. You understand? Because me make respect goes afar. With the most powerful of the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season still wreaking havoc, and NFL owner is doing his part to help out those in need. Hurricane Melissa landfall in Jamaica as a Category 5 hurricane, leaving countless people without power. Prime Minister Andrew Wallace had no choice but to declare the country a disaster area on Tuesday. According to the National Hurricane Center, this storm made landfall right in Cuba this Wednesday as a Category 3 hurricane. In an effort to support those impacted by this storm, Atlanta Falcons owner Arthur Blank announced that he is donating $2.5 million to Hurricane Melissa relief. Blank is sending $1.5 million to World Central Kitchen and $1 million to Team Rubicon. Take that away. Now, let us look on this, Jamaican people. Walt Disney. Because we not done it to the people. Mr. We not done yet. The things that we done, we not done yet. See it, watch out, people. Disney contribution, $1 million for Hurricane Melissa relief. That's why I say technology go and beat you, Andrew Wallace. Technology is going to beat you. This is not the dinosaur politics where you practice coming out, tell lies and spin and believe. This era of technology is going to reveal your corruption. This Disney contribute $1 million for Hurricane Melissa relief in Jamaica. Right? The Walt Disney Company is committing $1 million to assist with critical relief and recovery efforts following the impact of Hurricane Melissa in Jamaica. Take it away on it. My Jamaican people, honestly, I stopped the search. Take that away.
What about Canada, US, and all of them?
So we don't talk about Canada. Okay. We don't talk about US. Okay. We don't talk about UK. Because at this point, we want to get the message as it relates to the high level of criminality and Andrew Wallace's deliberate action in being tardy in not providing as it relates to an oversight committee to investigate. What happened to Nara? What happened to Nira? Andrew Wallace. And that's why Mark Golin, let me make people understand now. That's why Mark Golin said, as a result of the volume of contribution coming in, he cannot agree as it relates to the parliamentarian who has the responsibility to the PAC and the PAAC to duplicate the process. Remember, I couldn't understand what is going on now. What Mark Golin wanted is an independent body that have the time and that specifically is going to deal with that particular oversight. So they have time, they have leverage to do that. Andrew Holness put on them shenanigans in a parliament talking about, right, Mark Golding is don't know what he want, the next thing he want this, and the next thing he want that. It is clear as it relates to what Mark Golding want, right? Mark Golding is saying, don't duplicate the process as it relates to parliamentarian. You want an independent situation out of parliament that have the time and the alacrity to deal with the scope of donation that you can that you are getting. You think that you're smart, and as I said to Jamaica people, that what Andrew Holness is doing as it relates to his first and second administration, because of the level of corruption and over $3 trillion unaccounted for, he is now trying to suppress, right where he can suppress, and try to patch where he can patch. He now go work on Andrew Holness. He now go work. We are on you. We are investigating. Let me heal back and bring in the melting pot. Melting pot.
Thank you, Sir Byron. Yeah, well, in regards to, the meager somewhere Andrew Holness put out as, the money put up for reconstruction of the people in home, that is a tip in the bucket as it relates to the amount of money that Andrew Holness did. And I mean, Sir Byron, you put up the information, I have them already here. So, I mean, yeah, you can just read it out quickly and tell the people. And Walt Disney, 1 million, NFL won at 2.5, Heat Carnival, which is a subsidiary of the Miami Heat basketball team, 1 million US. Yemen government, 1 million US. And that total up to 5.5 million US dollars from those 4 entities. Yeah, we're not going at the contingency credit vacancy. Yeah, but when we look on everything total overall, yeah, Andrew Holness administration received 240.8 million in US dollar. 50 million from, don't forget about the 50 million from the Jamaica Consolidation Fund as well. Yeah. And then you have a 7.5 million pound from the UK government. Yeah. And then you factor in all the aids are coming from these entities like United States. We know them present 22 million, right? United and Canada also give another 11 million in assistance. I already mentioned the 7.5 million from United Kingdom. Yeah. So there's a vast amount of money coming in. Plus when they talk about, aid relief from the Cayman, we're looking at 500,000 US dollar worth of aid relief. Yeah. So it's a vast amount of money, and you get what Andrew Holness is trying to do, yeah, is to, take out a little 10 billion Jamaican dollars, yeah, because it's not US, 10 billion Jamaican dollars out of all of this money on top of the 6.7 billion US dollar. Okay, that's a tip in the bucket. So Andrew Holness is not preparing to have a more, stringent Jamaican society where the community structures can withstand a category 5. This 10 billion Jamaican dollar can only do repair and putting back the house in the same way they were before Hurricane Melissa. I tell Andrew Holness to get rid of the zinc and the rooftop. Yeah, where you find people with small board houses. Yeah, because board houses will be small houses. Just build them a 2-bedroom and slab it. Completely minimize using back zinc for roof purposes. So it was all about developing a stronger Jamaica so that it can withstand category 5 hurricane. This $10 billion cannot do that. So Jamaica will have another same reoccurrence of what took place when Melissa hit the island going forward, based on the type of construction that Andrew Wallace wants. He's basically putting back the same thing there. When him should move away from these little boardhouse and zinc top and just slab everything and put concrete structure so we can withstand another category 5 hurricane. So everybody need to understand that the 10 billion Jamaican dollar, nothing to write home about. Remember them used 45 billion the other day leading up to the general election to commence road repair. So if you look at 45 billion and compare it to 10 billion, then you see where I'm coming from. Nothing to speak about. So Jamaica will not see a transformation in farm in terms of how housing is being constructed. Yeah? He's just merely referring to putting back on the rooftop. So if you have a zinc top before, I'm going to give back a zinc top. Now Andrew Wallace should have think carefully along the line of reoccurrence with another category 5 hurricane. I don't know if it's the next hurricane season coming up or the other one. But to go back to zinc roof is not the way him should utilize the vast amount of money. I remember we don't even go into some other donation, Because people remember say Andrew Wallace, yeah, along with Dushan Chavadia, them set up our own app, online app for people who want to contribute with Andrew Wallace face representing the app. You understand? I remember artists put on concert. We don't hear about these money, what amount it total up to. A lot of things has been hidden from the public and from the People's National Party. And so when Mark Golding rightfully, requested that there should be an independent oversight committee to preside over all the money and the relief that coming into Jamaica, what Andrew Wallace did, he went to go about it in his own way. He dismantled ADPEM, get rid of the whole staff, assembled a staff that didn't have anybody to head the department, a person who was a novice in the case of Alvin Gale. And so there is no traceable evidence of what comes in and where they are gone. Yeah, there's no recording of how much donation from the artists with the concert that they put on to raise these funds to send into Jamaica. There's nothing to show what the government also received from their online app. So Andrew Wallace merely is just doing things to benefit himself, because this online app that Amber Group, led by Dushan Shabari, set up, it must have had contribution sent to it. Have we heard what that contribution total to? No, and we don't hear what the artist them concert total to. So when you add everything together, it's a mountain of money Andrew Wallace benefit from Hurricane Melissa. And he's only putting forward 10 billion Jamaican dollar out of that. So I want to ask him, do you, at the end of it all, will ask the taxpayers to pay back all of the money that you get from the World Bank, IMF, Inter-Development Bank? Yeah, because the people can't pay back that, because them don't get it. The people them cannot pay back that money that them don't get. So this 10 billion Jamaican dollar, it can't do nothing. It can't build back the type of, resilience that you talk about. Or you go and build back Jamaica stronger and better than before. That's what you said in your initial, overview of the country and the devastation. In your press conference, Andrew Wallace, you said that Jamaica is strong and resilient, and Jamaica will be built back stronger and better than before. So if you put back the same structure, it can't withstand category 5. I'm telling you that. And so you'll have to be going back, or another regime would have to be going back to IMF, World Bank, and Interdevelopment Bank to get money again to repair back Jamaica. We want Jamaica to be built in a way that it can resist a hurricane category 5. And so move away from these board houses and these zinc roof. Yeah, because the money that you get, it should have been spent in a more wise manner, rather than trying to pinch here and there and give the people them the crumbs and then want the people them to pay back all these vast amount of money. Yeah, I don't see it feasible, because even that 12 million US dollar grant that you get, yeah, we don't know what to do with that 12 million US dollar grant. I remember you get that, yeah, the same time you get the 6.7 billion US. And so Jamaican people are at a loss. Even the People's National Party is at a loss. Nobody knows as it relates to the true amount of money that you get. So, I mean, we have to do some serious auditing on this government. But if him think him can use the money and tie up the loose end with them create, then there will also be a gap in the amount of money, because auditing can prove that, you know.
Exactly.
Auditing can prove it. So it don't matter which way I'm go with it. At the end of the day, the right result will be attained as long as the right measures are taking place. I yield back the floor.
Wonderful melting pot. Let us bring Brother Rattigan to the floor. Brother Rattigan, your take on the matter.
Yeah. Let me just you ask us to write down some numbers. What was it? 150 catastrophe bond, 70.8 Caribbean, 300 IDB, da. All right. Melting Pot just mentioned it. I'm only gonna give you 3 numbers. Just 3 numbers, me give you. I'll give you 6 point, and the Melting Pot just mentioned it. 6.7 billion US dollars. What them get from the World Bank and some other organizations. Then IMF exposed them to a loan, 415 million. And the Caribbean Development Bank, 200 million. Stop this, so. Stop this, so. No need to go no further. So,
people wake up.
So your point is well proven, Mystic.
Okay.
Also, people I want them keep in mind.
Thank you.
I want them keep in mind that we have some loans that we still not pay off yet from COVID, you know, the 750 million US, you know, we're not pay that off yet.
But what about burial?
And burial, we're not pay that off yet.
Yes.
Right? And the Melting Pot, I asked about some funds that come in through from the series of concerts. We really don't know how much money was provided to the government for that. But we do know that during COVID, the diaspora collected around in excess of 300,000 US dollars. And that money to date has not been accounted for. We know this for a fact. ADPEM, you were asking how much money we can figure out we got to the government regarding the website, Dushant. ADPEM has a number. I don't remember the number, but they have a number for people who have contributed financially to the government. They have that number. Oh, and Mr. mentioned an audit. The Auditor General submitted a report, a 28-page report, where she already find problems.
Wow.
She already find problems.
Huh?
And this is a real-time audit. This is a real-time audit, you know. So it's not somewhere she go, something happen and she do it 6 months, or she'll do it while it's going on, while the funding and everything are going on. And she already put out, so there are problems. Lots of problems. Money are give away. Same thing like what happened with a whole bunch of these other contracts. Money are give away, no contract, none of the procurement procedures not followed.
So Ratty, everything that I'm talking about, I'm on point.
You prophesy correctly, sir.
Okay.
You prophesy correctly. I go and get my eyes on that report this between tomorrow and thing. I just heard about it tonight before coming on, and I took a quick look at some of the findings. And we'll deal with that. We'll deal with that later. But it's not good. I mean, even in the fees. Remember, she said, I am going to do a real-time audit on the funds coming in and how it's been distributed. And even with that announcement, all kinds of shenanigans are going on. All kinds of shenanigans. No. It's like them don't care, And that's why it's so important for us to highlight these things, because I'm telling you, a lot of people, the information that we're giving out tonight, a lot of people in Jamaica are oblivious to it. A lot of people, they don't know anything about it. Them don't know. Because if they knew, they would be in the streets. If they knew how much money poured into Jamaica, and by the way, last week, remember, they were in Panama, in Panama for some Latin American Caribbean organization. And you know what them got there for? They got big money. And I have been told that them get money. I was told that they went there looking for $1 billion US. I don't have the number in as far as the amount of money they received, but I was told that they got money, or they got commitments to provide money. So there's so much money flowing into Jamaica right now that the Auditor General, I'm telling you, I love her to death, but she and her staff can't oversee everything that's coming in, and at the end of the day, the people suffering will continue to suffer. And that's it. You can't hear my mistake?
I heard you.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So, all right. Let us show, right, a level of criminality here, right, as it relates to how the Jamaica Labour Party, right, try to deceive the people of Jamaica. We are going to go to border. Let us go to border, honey. Right? Call this JIS, yeah. Jamaica Billionaire Sean Paul. Celebrate. Yes. Let us go to border.
St. Elizabeth meets Westmoreland, life has always moved to the rhythm of the sea. The smell of fry fish on open fire resonates around the cove. For the residents of Scotts Pass, this gem is a center of attraction. But when Hurricane Melissa, a Category 5 storm, tore through Jamaica, this place, otherwise called Border, was left broken, flattened, and uncertain. 37 small businesses, livelihoods passed down through generations, were reduced to rubble. Behind them, more than 20 fishermen lost their marketplace. In front of them, families lost income, security, and hope. But the border did not stay silent for long.
Right now, people just want to get back, to get their business and selling. And the government, through my Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, is building back 44 business places for the vendors in this area.
With $20 million approved by Cabinet, the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce moved fast, not just to rebuild, but to build stronger.
I pour some oil, and we put the steel in it, and pour the concrete and the steel oil that we use coal. Coal is coal, that we use coal, and pour everything in the section.
What we're doing must be much better than what was here. If a hurricane comes, we understand. But if a strong breeze comes,
And also the zinc, instead of nail, we're going to screw them.
Okay, so you bolt it down.
Yes, we'll bolt it down.
Every nail, screw, bolt, strap was about one thing: resilience. With supportive drainage, sanitary facilities, and gazebos, this was not a patch-up, this was a reset.
Early this morning, you're in.
This morning.
Her name is Antonille. the first vendor to return to her stall, even as finishing touches remained. Having lost parts of her home, she was eager to be back at the place that feeds her family.
I was the first one to get the stall and I really appreciate it. We have been through a great tragedy. We never know that we will come back on foot at this present moment. But thank God for the help that we are receiving now.
This is not just about stalls. It's an ecosystem of fishermen and dozens of families, all tied to this one strip of road.
Here is a very positive man. When I come down here, you have nothing but him get back in the business, and we're happy that he's one of them.
For the best French fry lobster, steam fish, steam conch, escovitch fry fish, cool one of it.
With the signs up and painting enhancing the decor, Border is being carved out to be more than a food stop and into a destination for relaxation. Good atmosphere for.
Now, they claim, right, this is the wickedness of Andrew Holness administration. You understand, believe that they can use their trickery and continue to con people, right? Scamming taxpayers. Now, when you look at that, right, we are going to show, right, as it relates to Sean Paul, building border, not the government. And they are now saying that they spent $20 million in terms of building, right, border. This is deceitful, right? Let us show Jamaican people. Look at this. Here it is. Here it is. Sean Paul celebrates reopening of border food village, right? This is January 31, 2026, right? Just imagine it now. Sean Paul, right? Kudos goes to Sean Paul. Bless up yourself anywhere there, right? Identify the project, right? And decide that he's going to build back the thing. Sean Paul went, right? I mean, with all of his supporters, right? And people who tune in and help with the assistance, right? And Sean Paul build back the thing. Now the government now want claim say, you understand, them build back border and spend $20 million in doing that. Well, guess what? It is $20 million for the take and stealing of taxpayers' money. Now we're not going to get away with this, you know. And we want the Auditor General to investigate this, you know. We are not going to allow you to get away with this. Now, international dancehall icon Sean Paul is expressing his joy and gratitude as Border Food Village officially reopened for business on January 16, making a powerful moment of renewal for vendors and the wider South Coast community. Let us show how Sean Paul build it back. You understand? And where the government wasn't there. Andrew Holness and him scammer them weren't there. They weren't there. Now, so let us play that. Let us show Sean Paul building back. Yes, border. This is wickedness. Deceitful, conniving, scamming. And so then now taxpayers now set now to lose $20 million because you don't want to put that now in our personal pocket. Now let us look at this. We want the Auditor General to investigate this.
Build back border. That is it.
We are trying to sprinkle it every week. Well, last week when I was here.
So Andrew Holness, like how we are showing this a clip here. We want for you to show us where were you when Sean Paul, right? And other persons who were there assisting Sean Paul building it back. Where was the Jamaica Labour Party? Where were you when we was a set of criminal? Now look at this.
I'm going to forward back. Next week I'm going to send back again until the place built. You understand? Reason why yes, so first in certain terms, you know it's the hub. You know, say people need that for their moral. When we pass through here, sir, and see one table, remember hard job come and say, yo, we can't even buy the soup or so I feel good for no say. Right now we are built back. Right, promising the last week, I'm there now. So I don't want anybody to feel like they get left off because the next week they're there, and the next week they're there. You understand? We gotta build back the place. Put where we are geared into this, so make yes, so can be back at economic hub and make back money, please. That's what we are at. So we like to see the progress. We're seeing it. And we're cleaning up the beach. And we just want to make her know say straight love. Then that's that we are dealing. No farmer, no problem, no politics against this or that. But the straight love.
And remember again, please, when you use the product them and fix the shop them, you can pass and see the thing look good and see some greatness.
Yeah, man.
We're gonna check on any house on have a mash down. We're gonna check on that. But them things they wanna get right now, have to build up the shop them.
I'm fixing here, so it's not just it help a lot of people moral to see back the place, full and vibrant. So make we do it. Make we do it. Yeah.
We'll do it together. So the mission is to build back the place. All right, build back border. What's the mission? Build back border. What's the mission? Build back border.
So let me ask you a question, Andrew Honest. Where were you, right, during that time when Sean Paul building back border? Where were you, sir? Where were you? The opportunity now that you tie yourself to the project to steal taxpayers' money, 20 million. Auditor General, please, may I ask you, this particular project, please investigate. Please, may I beg you to investigate, Auditor General. Because me show you the evidence, Auditor General, that Andrew Honest and his administration, they weren't there. It is Sean Paul who built it back week after week after week until it completed. Now, Andrew Honest, time served to the project, you're scammer. Time served to the project. You understand? And just now scam the taxpayers' money. Now, let me ask a question. Commissioner of Police, you know, see this we investigate. Mocha, you know, see this we investigate. Finn, you know, see this we investigate. Now, since we're upon this mission here, let me ask Rattigan as it relates to his input in this matter. Brother Ratti.
Yeah, there was a hurricane before Melissa. I'm wondering if Sean Paul, that was one Sean Paul was the one that the government was, because it couldn't be both of them at the same time for the same hurricane.
Yes.
I can't believe this, because I've been to Bada, one of my favorite spots. That, in fact, I soon land there. And yes, when I go Bada, I have a special lady when we go to this to forget my food. So what I don't understand is it's not a big place. It's not a big place. So I don't understand how the government has spent what? 20 million? 20 million, and Sean Paul out there has spent money at the same location at the same time.
Sean Paul don't build the place already.
Yes. And Bada is not a big place. As you go around the corner, by the time you blink, you pass it. It's a small place. So, look, we shouldn't be surprised, though. We really shouldn't be surprised, because this has been going on for a while, and it's a clear display of arrogance that them basically no care what you think and no care what you say. We're going to do what we want to do. Even in the face of contradiction, that you say you build it and somebody else build it at the same time. And it's not like, say, you build like, it's not like a housing scheme where you say, okay, you build, scheme A and then somebody will build scheme B, but it's part and parcel of the same scheme. That's not it. It's a small location. Anybody who pass through Bada know that. It's a small, you blink your part, you're gone through there. So, why? Look, we have a work cut out for it. We have our work cut out for it. Think about it. If we are not there, and the Auditor General should have a limited staff, if we're not there, dog nyam them people that suffer, man. Suffer. And when I say them people, I'm not talking about the taxpayers, because you see, all of this money we are coming to Jamaica, a lot of it, loans, will have to be paid back. Will have to be paid back. And who going to pay it back? The politicians, them going in them pocket and going to them bank account and pay it. You think I say it work? And I say it work. It not go so. It all come in the form of taxes.
Yes.
Direct or indirect, it's
Exactly.
going to come in at the farmer taxes. And remember now, the minimum wage, in promise, they must put up the minimum wage, what, March, April? They make that promise there. So we are going to see. But the thing about it is that even with the increase on the minimum wage, you still won't be making a livable wage. You won't be able to, because everything will go up.
Inflation.
Yes, so you won't be able to. Why I don't know them people are going to live enough. I really don't know them way people are going to continue. I don't know. First of all, I don't know how some of them are live down there because they make blood out of stone.
True.
You know, or they must squeeze blood out of the stone because if you think, that's why I'm saying Jamaican people resourceful enough, because if you look at how some of them, the earnings of them make, and you see where them have to stretch it, you know, they still them have to stretch it. I'm sure say your mother was one a lady like that, you know. Me know say Lady Anne Marie mother was like that, right? Melting Pot mother was like that. We not leave out the fathers them, but we know it go. And the mothers them used to control the economy in the house. And all of you are watch this live and you have parents or relatives like that, where you don't know how them do it, but they manage to do it and feed the family. So we have some more banding abilities for God do over the next several years, because this is not looking good. It's not forecasted to be good, and it won't be good.
I really appreciate that. No, Melting Pot. Now, let you have you juggle down, Melting Pot. Your input.
My input is that this is one of the most disgraceful PR carried out by the Jamaica Labour Party. And I mean, you know, everybody can see it from the inception. Who was the man on the ground trying to get back border on its feet so that these people can, you know, continue a way of life. And I mean, why I have to label it as one of the most disgraceful PR by the Jamaica Labour Party? It's simply the fact that they are claiming it, and the budget that they claim that they utilize to restore back border. Now, if we take it at face value that them say them spend $20 million for that, then one of them stall cost 400,000, you know, people. You can't believe that one of those stall, you know, cost 400,000 Jamaican dollar. What a disgrace! This Andrew Wallace led regime, you know, them not have no sense, you know. Them don't have a clue, people. You cannot put forward one of those stall because them upgraded from 37 to 50 as gone to a Auburn Hill, the garbage bin, I tell we. You understand? So the 50 stall, if a 20 million them spend, each stall costs 400,000 Jamaican dollar to construct. Now look at that. It's a shed. It's a shed, you know. And Andrew them put forward 20 million for this project. Where we used to when Sean Paul bring the truck apply and the lumber them come there. And even say him no want this thing to go in a politics direction. The man even say him I come clean up all the beach. So when Aubrey Hill and Andrew Wellness, you know, carry out this disgraceful PR, this is just showing Jamaican what is happening when we come and beat them because of the corruption with them up, you know, practice. People for celebrate and clap with. Because here it is, one stall people, 400,000 Andrew Wallace government, I give 500,000 to people who have the most extreme damage in a hurricane, Melissa, to restore back them house.
All right,
but a stall
Pat, give me a minute then. Let me give you some more information. Come on, you beat him. When you beat him the way you beat, you know. Let me give you some more information, Melting Pot. Let me just share this so you can beat him the way you need to beat him. Now watch this now, Melting Pot. And watch this all persons who tune in. Watch this. See here? The Sean Paul Foundation has led the Build Back Border initiative supporting the reconstruction of the border community in St. Elizabeth, Jamaica, following devastating damage from Hurricane Melissa in October 25. The project, in a partnership with Food for the Poor Jamaica and others, involved rebuilding 51 vendor stalls and kiosks, right? The video shows a glimpse of the rebuilding effort at the border community. Watch this now. Look on this now. Look on the details. Key details of the initiative. Bulletin point number 1. Jamaica people who want to watch and see how Andrew Owens are trying to rob Jamaican people. Bulletin point number 1, Jamaica people. Hurricane relief. Hurricane Melissa, category 5 storm, caused severe damage to the border community in late October 2025. Bulletin point number 2, rebuild effort. The initiative including the construction of 37 repairs and 14 new stalls for vendors and fishermen, which were officially reopened in early 2026. Partnership, the effort was supported by Sean Paul Foundation, Jerry and Nephew, the Tourism Enhancement Fund, and Visinco. Now, fundraising, people see it here, see the evidence here, so we're not telling you like Andrew Owens. Fundraising, Sean Paul pledged to match up to US 50,000 in donations for the recovery effort. The scope, the project is a part of a broader effort to restore livelihood and strengthen communities along Jamaica South Coast. So tell me now, Jamaica people, where Andrew Owens get $20 million from for putting on this project here? Go and beat the melting pot.
But Andrew Owens get involved in that project at the bulletin point that we have to put out the first and foremost, because him not then round this type of project. We just see the list. The Jamaica government not upon it. So Andrew Owens can't claim this in my Arbel Hill garbage bin. You understand? And I mean, this thing has to stop. It is so disgraceful in the eyes of people living abroad and following the sequence of events in Jamaica and seeing the initiative, that Sean Paul, did in that first video that was presented with Sean Paul and his mates, them visiting the site with the truck apply. And Sean Paul stating the obvious that he wanted to build back and build better. You understand? And here it is now, the government staking claim that is for them work and it cost them 20 million. But even if a for them project, put aside Sean Paul people, just for a sake, that couldn't cost 20 million because one of those stalls does not value 400,000 Jamaican dollars. That's my point. But this just goes to demonstrate what we are saying around here. This government is a criminal government. A government that steals from even the poor, the blind, the sick, and the lame.
Well, on the melting pot. So if one of them stalls costs 400,000, or we must try to assist the or we must try to help out as it relates to theme program where we categorize, right, 3 entry of assistance, which is 75,000, 200,000, and 500,000 for build back persons' homes who are affected. You understand? So the stall more expensive than people's house. This is how we catch it. This is how we catch it.
Me talk about Byron. This is how we catch it. That's why we use the figure. That is why I use the figure, And this is why I mention about, the people in home and the top ceiling price is 500,000. You understand? But just look on one of them stall. It don't even fully conceal, It's just down at the bottom of opening space and couple zinc and some lumber and cement down at the bottom. And a 400,000 that this government here is a pauperizing government. What may I say? It's a pauperizing government. It made the people in the country poorer than ever before. Because all them do is steal the money. Look how disgraceful this look. Right around the world, people say Sean Paul, Right around the world. Because people, right around the world, put a lot of time and effort into what was going on in Jamaica in regard to Hurricane Melissa. And they have seen the coverage. Yeah, they have seen the coverage. They have heard the people voice. They have heard the people cry. They have seen the response from the government. They know everything. But Andrew Wallace don't think that people who are not in Jamaica know everything what's going on in Jamaica. This is a disgrace on the Andrew Wallace administration. First and foremost, to claim the project. And secondly, to put out a $20 million cost. So people, one of them stall them wouldn't want it because waste my 400,000. Me never know so stall. You know, cost people now in a Jamaica to build a little shed to sell under 400,000. This government are worse than sewage. Worse than sewage. It's a slimy, stinking, nasty thief in government around the country. You understand? And Jamaican people have to understand that that's why it stop. Yeah? You can't give them no more farmer accreditation because them not deserve it. Them are not nobody. Them are just criminal of the lowest order. You understand? In terms of who them steal from. Yeah? And criminal of the highest order in terms of how much them take when them take. You understand? These people have been accumulating Jamaican wealth for them own. And it must stop and they must be investigated, charged and put behind bars. So we are sending the commission and the auditing on them people are right now as it relates to border stall restoration. Yeah? So people in a Jamaica, we have to see what we are showing you. One of them stall are 400,000 feet. That's how we Andrew Wallace government say. Because them say 20 million them spend. As a matter of fact, Aubrey Hill can't even get it right in my Andrew Wallace because them say 50. But in a Sean Paul report, them add an extra 14, so that would have given 51. Because it was 37 there in the initial phase before hurricane. You understand? So we ask ourselves the question now. Yeah? Why a government in the day and age of technology continue to lie and use PR as the identification of what they are saying? Eh? Why? Because everybody sees Sean Paul down there. The government should not stake no claim. What Andrew should have do is do like what Sean Paul do and build back the people them community. Sean Paul build back the vendors them community. Him should have out them and them people them in the fields with a vast amount of money. I go and put on roof and build back structure. Yeah. Where boardhouse was, him should have replaced it with a nice 2-bedroom bathroom, concrete house. Put the block to work, put the sand to work, the steel to work, and the cement and the mason them. Yeah, don't come back with no more boardhouse because when the next category 5 hurricane come, it a go move it again. So this guy is basically, what we see him do now, is just nurturing the ground again for another category 5 so him can get another cat ban. Because them also them even just build, yeah, category 5 hurricane on the south coast with the wingspan and the velocity like a hurricane, Melissa. I'm going to tear them down same way.
Of course.
We tell the man say build back proper house. Him say I build Jamaica stronger and better. Where is it stronger and better?
In our pocket.
Well, in our pocket stronger and better and him cronies them. Because using lumber, you know, and zinc again, you know, are the same outcome. So if you're going to build back stronger and better to beautify the tourist island, you should have moved away from boardhouse and zinc roof and put concrete structure. Them get all money, you know, for the road specifically, you know, and patch the road them. Them now resurface nowhere, you know. Patching. Same thing them do with the $45 billion road program leading up to the election. I mean, no, Jamaica no see the road them look different. Them look the same. Because when you patch somewhere, as soon as car tire run over it and put the dirt on the tar, it look like the whole piece of tar already there. Yeah? So that roadway don't look no way different before them come there with them patching work. So everything in Jamaica is done. Yeah? With the knowledge that it will reoccur and we can use back the procurement and steal the money. Them now fix no way stronger, better than before. It is the same and in some case weaker. So we have to call upon, you know, We have a call upon the authority to do better. Because Jamaican people can't go back to IMF, you know. They need that money next year when a hurricane coming up. And that me I make him know. Because them people have burned with tax already. Them can't take no more tax. And the man thieving up money and the man can't ease off. The man can't ease off of the thieving. Better just use the money where you get no man and build the country right and make the country have a different outlook, man. That's all you have to do, you know. And stop going on and drop this $10 billion Jamaican dollar as relief project money for rebuild back. When you take 6.7 billion, where you take so much money for? Look how much money you get in the region. The cat ban, yeah, the sea cliff, and another 20 million where you get from CARICOM. You understand? That's a 240 million right there, so you know. 240. All the money where you get, where you do with it. Nobody can know where I come to you. I remember, up where you there, your house intact. You not suffer no damage. And the people, but you take away the money from the people. This guy, hey, him evil and wicked till it can't evil and wicked no more, you know. And him counterpart, yeah. Him counterpart know what I do, you know. I mean, I talk size 13 as a woman, she don't even correct the piece of shit. She don't even tell him, say, look here, what happened. We don't want no controversy with this money, you know. Just spend it, make the people get the benefit of it, make everybody can see. Everybody can see, so the guy not spend nothing out of the money where him get. Him not release the relief program and come in the food item and nothing him not release to the people, you know. Him have them sit down pan. Yeah. The generator them where him get from Belgium and all them places, you know. I sell him have them, I sell. Nobody have them. Can't remember and tell you, you know. When the light was stored, he might take them back. Take them back and do what? We are doing so much generator. Them things that we stay out there with the people so when light gone, them can use it even when them have light. You give it to them. You put certain amount in a certain area where it light up the place so it prevent criminal from have dark night. Light gone, them can't turn on them generator. You have all 20 in a one place. Spread them out down in the rural parishes, man. Yeah? Some place where a little man ups up when a line to reach him. Make him have one of them. So him can just have him petrol and him can use a generator way up on the hilltop the way over the bush. Him want them back. So you know I steal him, I go steal from them there, you know, because I'm going to sell them, you know. Him I go sell them, man. Hey, this Labour government here, it's rotten to the core. I heal back the floor.
Well said, Melting Pot. Let us get into more serious situation because, you know, it seems like, all right, a distance between in terms of, right, the general election and Paul Buchanan situation. And, of course, we want some update on it. However, we are going to show some serious situation as it relates to certain breaches. And we know very well that, right, the Privy Council, right, when being processed, right, as it relates to this case, right, I do believe that it is going to be ruled, right, as it relates to in the favor of Paul Buchanan. So let us just quickly go through some serious situation as it relates to the breach of the code of conduct, right, as it relates to the political, not the code of conduct as it relates to parliamentarian, the political code of conduct. We are going to show you insight as it relates to what Slated and Paul Buchanan case, right? To me, I'm almost 100% certain that he's going to be victorious. Let us get to, right, the code of, no, not this, George William. All right. This what we have here is the political code of conduct and the agreement and declaration on political conduct. You are going to see in this where Andrew Holness has several breaches. This is the Agreement and Declaration on Political Code of Conduct, right? George William Garden House, Jamaica, Tuesday, June 11, 2002. Now, here is PJ Patterson, who signed off on it. Edward Seaga, who signed off on the Political Code of Conduct. Right? Let us get into it now, people. Now, the People's National Party and Jamaica Labour Party, one, affirm their belief in the sanctity of human life and abhor taking human life or the violation of the person of anyone because of their political allegiance. So some people who the fire threat and want plan to kill people are number 3 people because them take a political allegiance. Well, we are showing you that this, right, is unlawful. Number 2, declare their opposition to and rejection of the use of violence or intimidation by any of their members or supporters as a means of expressing political support or furthering political objective. Now, Andrew Holness breached this. Denounce the procurement, possession, or distribution of weapons or ammunition of any sort by their members or supporters for the use in political activity. 4, affirm their commitment to non-violent relations between the members and supporters of both political parties. Repudiate any action by their members or supporters calculated to provoke, threaten, or intimidate the members or supporters of the other party. Andrew Holness breached this. Recognize and respect the right of each party, its members and supporters to express and demonstrate their political views and to conduct lawful, non-violent activities in support of their objectives. Both parties agree that they will not offer or support as candidate anyone pronounced by a judicial body to be guilty of criminal conduct involving violence, or any person who has been adjudged by a judicial or quasi-judicial body established pursuant to law of conduct of moral turpitude, provided that such a person appear or was summoned to appear as a result of specific allegation charges. Now, when you look down here, people, you're going to see the signatures affixed, right, to this document, right, to bear in mind the fundamental. See, all the persons who sign off, here it is, all the persons who sign off, right? Here you have Excellent Sir Alexander Bustamante, right? Norman Manley, right? Michael Manley, right? And here's the signature. Here's the signature. Agreement and Declaration on Political Conduct, right? Where that is concerned. So this is, right, the political conduct. Where we are going to, right? I am going to show you as it relates to serious breaches and where we believe as it relates to all what being lined out, right? And plus other laws, right? Definitely, Paul Buchanan is going to take this away. Now, let us show you now something that's significant here as it relates to also, right, the breach of the code of ethics, right, where Andrew Holness is concerned. And so then this makes Andrew Holness, right, as it relates to the political code of conduct and what Paul Buchanan accused him of. But let us get into the, okay, right, here it is, Appendix 6 of the Code of Conduct for electoral commissioners known as principle of public law. Public life, sorry. Now, integrity, Andrew Holness now have none of this. So the first one, every Jamaican, every single Jamaican, both yard and abroad, knows that Andrew Holness have no integrity. Holders of public office should not place themselves under any financial or other obligation to an outside individual or organization that might influence them in the performance of their official duties. Let me tell you now where this done. In 2007 to 2009, Andrew Holness awarded several contracts to Gavin. Several contracts to Gavin. So integrity, you know, have none. In dash with that. And I'm going to talk about Cash Plus and Olint and SSL one involved, you know, because them they nasty. Them they nasty out of the core. Now, objectivity in carrying out public business, including making public appointments, awarding contracts, or recommending individuals for rewards and benefits. Holders of public office should make choices on merit. If no make no choices on merit. Right? And so you see, him give tough time reward for damage the hospital and give Gavin how many contracts. And I give Dushiant Savadia several contracts. Because we don't truly know, the truth be told, you know. Right? It don't look like a divan Dushiant Savadia own them thing there, you know. Dushiant Savadia is only the face of the criminality. You understand? So it seems like it would appear as if, you understand, he's awarding contract to himself by giving Dushiant Savadia. Him just change the player. Because through Gavin got busted as it relates to Zara Burton investigation, the investigation that show him up. You understand? Him just switch from Gavin, now him gonna Dushiant Savadia. No accountability. We could talk about accountability because nothing like that not there. Holders of public office are accountable for their decisions and actions to the public and must submit themselves to whatever scrutiny is appropriate to their office. Mighty God. You know, the same movements, if apply, you understand, to the court, one for sure the Corruption Act. You understand that these with illicit enrichment. You know, say this one here. You know, say this one here. A real old scammer. No openness. Him not have none of this. Holders of public office should be as open as possible about all decisions and actions they take. You know, a peer gagging give. Peer gag. Section 53, subsection 53. You know, want the subsection 3. You know, want the Integrity Commission investigators them chat anything out of them mouth about investigation, particularly where he is concerned, and even the Auditor General you want lock down. You understand me? I say, and even show social media vloggers like we know him want to attacking about make him come with their feed. Me and Ratty gonna melt him pot and loan some their feed. Honesty. Oh my goodness, people don't know saying Lord Jesus, peace. People, we're not talking about honesty. When you talk about honesty, right? Trust me, me not lie. Everything broke down yourself. Alright, so everything popped down. Everything popped down yourself. Honesty, thief like puss. Holders of public office have a duty to declare any private interest relating to their public duties and to take steps to resolve any conflict of arising in any way that protects the public interest. Just can you imagine? Use all of the charity money, get charity money. You understand? And switch it to say, boy, I'm not lying in thief like a puss. Hey, this man, him, Andrew Holness know how to thief milk out of coffee. Tell me to tell you that. No play with him. Leadership. Now, you know, say this funny there. You know, say this funny there, people. Holders of public office should promote and support these principles by leadership and example. Let me give you Andrew Holness excellent performance in leadership. Darren profound guilty. Darren profound guilty. And his excellent leadership It's for put him back. Right? It's for put her back. It's for put her back in the cabinet. So I tell you about Andrew when I say. What I tell you say? Take it away. Selflessness. Holders of public office should take decisions solely in terms of public interest. They should not do so in order to gain financial or other material benefits for themselves, their family, or their friends. Mahmoud, I'm a billionaire right now and can't even explain it. You understand? Can't explain it well. Papa Jesus. How would I go happen to him, man? You understand? They might tell lie. How feed. You understand? How feed investigation reveal that Andrew won a statutory declaration. You understand? Okay. Now, all of them the lie that what Big Mama tell, right? Now go on. That's why Father God lick him down upper center that's why Father God lick it down. Lick it down. Tell too much lie, man. Father God have to punish him. You understand what I say? Father God have to punish him first. You understand? Almost take away your eyesight from him. Make him wobble. You understand what I say? So I hope they have time. You understand? And Jerry Bryan, anyway, they big up yourself. Jerry Bryan say, I hope they have time. You know, I hope they say if stay. You understand? Wicked and corrupt. Right? So now let me put in, right? Of course, none other than Rattigan. What is your input on both the political code of conduct and the code of conduct and the Nolan principles? Yeah, what say you on the matter?
Well, you know, there's a general principle that rules were made to be obeyed. In this case, rules were made to be broken.
Yes.
So them just push the limit as far as them can. And we know that they haven't signed, even though they asked for the training and they received the training from the commission. They haven't signed and they will never sign. But it doesn't really matter because they're under that same code based on parliamentary rules and procedures. But it would be nice for them to sign it simply because they asked for it and they received the training. And what I wish you had shown was the training that they received. Yes. Because that would go to the issue concerning the Westcon investigation, statutory declaration. It would go to Marissa Dalrymple's case. It would go to the Prime Minister, the case that should be brought against the Prime Minister regarding the development up in Beverly Hills, as well as Leslie, what's name? The former junior minister in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. So it is abundantly clear that these rules, they were just made for lip service so that they can talk about it and say that Jamaica is serious about its commitment to anti-corruption. But we know that in action, they're not serious. It's all about talk. And the thing about it is that when they do these things, it helps their stature in the international community, and it allows them certain privileges, like loan privileges, for example, that otherwise they would not be eligible to receive. So they do all of these things. But if we talk about it another minute, it's like we talk about it a million minutes already, because they don't subscribe to these principles. They don't uphold them. They'll talk about them. They'll pass laws about them, but they don't believe, and there's sheer arrogance. They don't believe that these laws should apply to them. As I've always said, there's one set of laws in Jamaica, but there are different applications. If you come from a certain place, the application is different than if you come from another place. So we just have to keep calling them out when they violate. But we need more than that, though, because the people in Jamaica, boy, no way to take for them take to the streets and say enough is enough. Enough is enough. We're actually if you legally do it, get your permit. Not that difficult. And And even when we do things in Jamaica, when people do things in Jamaica, they don't get the support. Like the hospitality workers union, they had a protest the other day. And yes, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step. But
Yes.
that ain't even a step for the amount of people come out there. And look how many people affected by what's going on in the tourism industry. And them still don't come out. And even when you ask people to participate in a Jamaica, them say, boy, fearful, fearful. But how much longer can you live in fear? How much longer can you let fear direct your life? Because life is just for living, but you're not living. You're barely existing. So at some point, you have to say, what do I have to lose? When me have to lose, me just have to just go out there and just do what me have to do. Me have to go out there and stand up and hold a placard or something, grab the microphone, make a speech or something, inspire, educate people. But by mistake,
yes,
sometimes it feels like it's insurmountable, but it's just a fleeting moment, because then you catch yourself and realize why you're here, why you're doing this, and you're doing this for the love of people. You're doing this for good governance. You're doing this for transparency. You're doing this for equal rights and justice. You're doing this for an orderly society. You're doing it for all the right reasons. And that's why we keep doing it. And that's why I certainly will continue to keep doing it. So there you have it.
All right. Well said, brother Melting Pot. Brother Rattigan. Let me just have brother Melting Pot to close us off tonight. All right. Brother Melting Pot, please close us off.
Yeah, man, and I must endorse those last few lines that Brother Rattigan just quoted. Very wise word, But just look at all the bulletin points that you just present, Sir Byron. In regards to rules and regulations that should govern the running of a general election. Andrew Wallace and the administration breach all of them. There's not one that you read out that them don't tamper with. So I know him have a rough ride in the Privy Council. I don't see in which way him can really, find himself coming out on the right side of the law. He'll be on the wrong side. And so we are looking forward to a by-election soon. Because I hear Lady Anne Marie, use her terms, and I know it really solidifies what the whole conversation is all about. This guy feel like him bigger than the law and him better than the law. Him not adhere to no law in Jamaica. Basically, if you want to go up against the Integrity Commission, it shows that you, as a leader, does not respect law. So why do we have law? Because the law can't be a law that just, affect a certain section of the society and free up a next section regardless whether they tamper with the law or not. The law must be fair and balanced and equal rights and justice, as Brother Rattigan just point out. You understand? And I know every Jamaican supposed to endorse that, in particular, equal rights and justice, because everybody need that. So this administration has, fall foul of the law, and where we have seen so many of the breaches, was executed on September the 3rd. And it was as if Andrew Holness and the full entourage within his regime were literally enjoying what they were seeing happening on the ground. Because it was a plan well executed that they, see it play out right in front of them eyes. When you bring in a guy like Dushan Shivadia, to tamper with technology side as it relates to the electronic voting that took place, that should have never gone ahead. Because you did not have the Andrew Wallace regime did not have a trial in the local government election, of the system. And in that regard, that system should have not been introduced in the general. Because you can't have 63 seats, but you're going to put a system in a 7. That's not even, that's 1/9. That's 1/9. You have to have the full 63 covered. You can't just have 1/9 of the 63. Because 7 you put out, and 9, 7 are 63. So 1/9 of it you have. That can't cover the landscape with a system. So that system was created and designed to steal those 7 seats. It's as plain and simple as that. And them execute it, and we know the 7 seats. You understand? Andrew Wallace is one of them. Rhoda Crawford is one. Size 13 is another. I have to make sure no self look after the wife and the sweetheart. Yeah, man, I have to keep them in a parliament, man, and make sure no sir. All when them are a friend, them have to in a parliament. Cause this guy have governed the country in a little nasty, insipid way, You think in a UK and you could have a relationship with exposing a parliament as a married man with his wife and the Speaker of the House? Them chuck him out, man. Them chuck him out and they make the tabloid, man. All over the front of the newspaper. Every single one of them. But in a Jamaica, this guy just, desecrate parliament. Nobody say nothing. Yeah. Parliament supposed to be a place that, uphold the moral respect of the country. Where Andrew Wallace is concerned, him obliterate parliament. You understand? And get away with it and continue to do so because him have the backing of all of the entities in Jamaica. Yeah, such as the police, the army, the justice system. Yeah, him have the support to follow behind him. The thugs that carry out rampage within communities that, victimize people and suppress people from voting days. And we ask the question, where is this going? Because if you're the prime minister, first of all, you're supposed to protect the people as the leader of the country. Andrew Wallace don't protect the people as the leader of the country. They make anything happen to them and them laugh like Brother Nancy. You understand? Because we see it play out in front of our eye. Where people were being suppressed on the day. You understand? In the hot sun, standing up, waiting 30 minutes or so to cast one vote. Because Dr. Nathan Campbell said 15 minutes, more than 15 minutes in wait. And I mean, they would have even give him a bit of preference leeway. So you can imagine the ordinary people, anywhere between 20 and 30 minutes, they might wait to cast one vote. That not happen nowhere in the world. You understand? But in a matter of fact, that never happened in a Jamaica. In a none of the election. But in a this one, when Andrew command that increasing pressure and scrutiny from wide range of society in terms of its unexplained wealth and many more things. Yeah, in terms of the $3 trillion demand of scrutiny. And he was afraid to hear the sound one by one. They will be going to jail. He was afraid to hear the sound. Time come. So him do all that him could to derail and defeat democracy by stealing the general election. And he was so cocky and presumptuous that even the guy who him used in the EOJ office, Gladstone Brown, a.k.a. Tadpole Green, him make mention of giving him an award long before even election was run because him know everything do a cook and curry. Remember the first our voting history, Inc., which is an integrity part of the election, was out there in the hands of unscrupulous GLP supporters. Ink. The ink is a vital component of the election, you know. But it get out there. How did it get out there? We see all brings pull up over St. Thomas, over Michelle Charles, constituency office, brings people. So when you factor all these, it shows you what was happening. We see 1.4 billion move just months before the election. Months before the election, what we get for the 1.4? So far, 50 old bus. And that money don't enter back into the government administration coffers. No, that money was out there utilizing to buy vote. Now we know that constitute breach as well. We have Dr. Crab. I give people money behind a mesh fence, mesh wire fence. You can't see him. Dr. Crab. I give the people money on election day. And we know about several more breaches. So where Andrew Wallace is concerned, once him dropped at the Privy Council, all Jamaica Labour right to make sure no so we don't have Andrew as the Prime Minister, the handout king, the king of lies, the king of fraud, the king of corruption, the king of nepotism, the king of cronyism will die in London Privy Council. Time can't go to else them now going at the Buckingham Palace. Time is a shit king. You understand? Him is a shit king when it comes to all of these type of corruption. Him a king for them. Them king them we not recognize them. Because Andrew a criminal right around the world. You know? And those Jamaican people know say Andrew is a criminal. You know? Me see people were born in the UK where talk to me, and when them talk to me, them say the Prime Minister a criminal. The Jamaican Prime Minister, that them tell me, I not tell no lie. So people, when I have no birthright connection to Jamaica, but love Jamaica, know about Andrew Holness. Because remember, the internet is there for everybody to utilize. BBC carry snippet from them too, you know, and highlight the high level of corruption. I wonder if them know that. I wonder if them know, say, Privy Council know we're going already before him even come there. Because BBC broadcast on the Jamaican election and make mention of the, you know, activity where them sit on the ground when I look right. So I don't know what him think. But I'm glad him did commit such a crime, you know. Because sometimes when you have a school I run and it now run good, you have to get rid of the principal. You have to change the principal. Now we know this principal I graduate from a college where it's peer criminal, you know, them teach around there. So Edward Seaga College. Anybody will pass through Seaga a criminal. Yeah? Them find themselves running foul of the law. And I can name a few. Deadman Mackenzie, criminal, round Seaga, Babsy Grange, another crime producing activist. I remember man dead beside her in her car, you know. Yeah? And a wanted man. In another instant, wanted man in her car we assigned to she. So she facilitate that. Yeah? People know that as well. You understand? Now tell no lie on her. Colonel Charles did round Seaga. Him thief 2,000 acre land over St. Thomas and go and bully more activity. Down in all sentence, you know. Down in all sentence, you know. Colonel Charles and him friend did want a piece of land from a couple, you know. Yeah, overseas couple. And them try to get the land from the man, and the man wouldn't sell them the land. The man wouldn't sell them the land, you know. And them conduct a meeting with the man, and the man never want to go, and the wife say, go on. And when the man go, you know, come back on me at all now, you know. Alive, you know. Remember, so them find the man body in at the bottom of the sea with a brick tie on for him. A brick people. The man go for meet them in our meeting, you know. Colonel Charles down a sentence there, you know. Run away, you know. That piece of land where them did want to build the hotel pan. Them get it eventually because what happened? The wife didn't know about everything. And when she forced her husband, say, all right, go and go hear them and say, and him not come back. And them find the man body in the bottom of the sea. With a black tie to him. You know him can't survive that. Him sink and hold down there and drown. She just sell them and leave the place. She just sell them the land and do a get out of Jamaica. So Pernell Charles, them a criminal too. You understand? Whole heap of wrongdoing them go on with out of Jamaica there. You call them have some farmer symptoms to Jamaica land. You understand? Any beach land them want it. Yeah? So we know all of them things there. You understand? And we know say they will forever utilize criminal activity to remain in office. So when all is said and done, I know Andrew Wallace will have a good time in the Privy Council. And I know that's a solution that Jamaica will benefit from. Because that's a change that you have to make. You have to change the what? You have to change the principle. The principle of corruption, you have to move him. Clean up the school of them. And the whole of them school and graduate, you know. With honorary 3 degree. You know, all of them bangarang and garbage where you see them a go with. Yeah, wealthy man them come in a politics poor. In a no time them swell with wealth. And when you look, the wealth for the Labour MP them have, you know. PMP, Prime Minister them have to pass them, now master that. And we are talking about Prime Minister like Michael Manley, PJ Patterson, and Portia Simpson. Them leave the office relatively broke in terms of amassing of wealth. All of the Labour Prime Minister them wealthy. Seaga Bruce, Andrew them wealthy, and several more top man of the party like the tough tongue them, the Vaz. Look at Vaz, never been a Prime Minister. Look at the amount of wealth we have, but him never work outside of politics. People just look at it. Never had another career outside of politics, shouldn't even in a politics. Because name did link to certain things will ban you from being a politician. But him end up in a politics and him super rich. Of all type of billion-dollar investment. You understand? And so, who suffer? The poor, hard-working taxpayers of the country. Yeah, and I don't know for the love of God why the hungry belly labor right them still find this government attractive. What has this government done? Look at Tivoli Garden, which is the headquarters. Look how dilapidated and run down it look. Look at its surrounding. I want to go and still tell me, say, want to find the Jamaica Labour Party an attractive party. We are run up and down on us soon hungry and all on our ribs are show now. Eh? Flesh are left on nobody. Cause starvation are lick on out there. Cause remember, you know, when Andrew thief the money, you know, him nah can none come go, no. If him even go out of taxpayers' money where him got take out, fee money, him nah go none out of it. Just look at what the government do when the war broke out in Ukraine. Tell the student them when them call out for help from the government. So they must go and get a loan. So who would give Jamaican students a loan in Ukraine? That means I leave them there for them get caught up in the bombing and lose them life. But God did provide a Samaritan in Sir Jefferson Marcolin. Him go in a him personal account and look after them students and bring them back home safe. So it just go to show you who care from who don't care. Who want to see a better Jamaica from who want to mash up Jamaica. So we are said to the people, a time come now, you know. Time come now to put the boot on the ground. In the 70s, them did have paramilitary boot on the ground. I don't want a paramilitary boot on the ground. I want protesters boot on the ground. With placard bearing the symbol of the protest. I don't want a gun like what Seaga them did have. when them rage the fire and bark the gun, and man, they have to put them under heavy manners by building the gun code. I'm not looking for that.
Yeah. All right. Part, we're going over 10 minutes at a time, you know, so sort of see if we can.
All right, I can wrap it up now. Yes, so my people, call to action, call to duty. Time come, have to make a change for the betterment of Jamaica. Yeah, and we, right here, we are asking for that action. We have to do something to remove this regime. I'll back the floor to you, Sir Byron.
All right, so here you have it, my subscribers, all my listeners. Right, I want to say a big thanks for you to pass through again, Mystic Sensation. Let me just hand over to Wifey for Wifey to close us out, Wifey.
Okay, again, thank you guys. Thanks to everyone for tuning in as usual. Really appreciate your continued support. Bless up yourself, Mr. Rattigan. Bless up yourself, Melting Pot. And remember, guys, to tune in to Mr. Rattigan tomorrow night and to have a conversation with Mr. Rattigan, and also tune into all the other platforms who are also fighting the good fight. So have a wonderful and blessed week until you see Baron on Thursday. And Friday morning, I will join him late on Friday evening because I was not able to get out of the last 4 hours of my shift again. Unfortunately, this holiday and start of this year, I am having issues with shifting my shifts a bit. But anyways, I will be here after work. Anyway, continue to support each and every one of us who are out there battling for Jamaica. And rest well and safe travel on the gravel until next time.
All right.
Bless up, bless up, bless up.
Blessings. All right.
I don't want you come to me with that foolishness, you know. You elect a prime minister, and is a prime minister run the country. It is time we learn to hold our leaders accountable for their actions and stop making excuses for them. Stop making excuses. Otherwise, go elect the people who really run in the country. And I don't want the right start that stupid argument. Hold the people you elect accountable and stop making excuses for them.